Farhan bhai, I cannot hear you for some reason.
Okay. Should be able to hear me. Can you hear me now? All right.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन, सबको मेरी आवाज आ रही है? अच्छा, चलो यार, एक रिक्वेस्ट है मेरी तमाम पार्टिसिपेंट्स से कि प्लीज स्विच ऑन योर वेबकैम, एंड इफ यू आर नॉट कंफर्टेबल स्विचिंग ऑन योर वेबकैम, मैंने अभी अभी यूट्यूब पे लाइव जो है वो लिंक शेयर किया है. सो व्हाट यू कैन डू इज के उस पे यू कैन वॉच द एंटायर लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग, और उसके अलावा अगर आपका कोई भी क्वेश्चन है, यू कैन पुट दैट क्वेश्चन इन द चैट. सो वी विल यूज मेनली यूट्यूब चैट for questions. Usama, can you keep an eye on the YouTube chat? So the idea is कि देखो, हमारे पास we had requests of around 400 participants. We cannot have 400 participants in the Zoom, but we can have thousands of participants on YouTube live. The idea is कि जो लोग अपना webcam on कर रहे हैं, they can be in this Zoom session. Whoever wants to keep their webcam off, they can go and watch us live on YouTube. दूसरी बात ये है कि I request everyone to mute their mic. सिर्फ जो बंदा बोल रहा है, सिर्फ जो स्पीकर है, सिर्फ वही अपना माइक अनम्यूट रखेगा. After that, everyone else would be completely muted. ठीक है? तो Usama, are we ready to proceed? I'll start recording as soon as you tell us that we are ready to proceed.
Yeah, I think we're ready.
चलो सही है. So अब इसके बाद देखो, हमने रिक्वेस्ट की थी सबसे कि everybody should log in by 8:50 so that we can add them. Now it's 9 o'clock. It would be a little hassle for us to add people. We have already people watching us live on YouTube. If one of the co-hosts wants to moderate and keep adding more people, we can do that. But just remember, like I said, we have a very strict requirement कि जो Zoom session के अंदर यहाँ पे आ रहा है, उस हर बंदे का webcam on होगा और mic off होगा. और उसकी बड़ी strong reason है कि हम लोग we want to inculcate professionalism and punctuality. ठीक है? चलो, I'm gonna start recording. Usama, you ready with that? And I'll let you start the session.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, starting recording now.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. I think it's good evening in Pakistan, but Ramzan Mubarak. This is one of our first sessions, just to deconstruct some myths about residency and provide you the guidance that how to apply for a successful match. And today we are lucky to have 3 successfully matched physicians with us, Asad Lak, Rabi Iqbal, or Faika. So, and first of all, I just want to give a big shout out to Yushe. He helped, on the background, do a lot of things. So basically, we would just invite individually every one of the speakers to share their journey and tell them that how they did it, how they matched. And whatever questions you have, you post in the comments or chats. So we'll keep an eye on those, and we'll try to respond those on the go or at the end, but we will try to answer all of them. So first of all, we have Umar Tariq with us, who is chair of Young Physician Committee. We have Farhan Ahmed, who is co-chair of Young Physician Committee. I think Dr. Fateh Shahzad, he's not here. Is he here or not? So he's our KEMCAANA president. And rest of the speakers I introduced to. First, I'll start with, I think, Asad Lak, who has matched in University of Iowa in neurosurgery. So Asad, I would just ask you to tell me that how you got this inspiration. And I believe you did a couple of your USMLEs during your med school, right? So with med school, with giving MBBS exam and everything, I just want to know how you managed and how kind of it impacted your personal life and your student life.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Farhan bhai, Umar bhai, Sam bhai, for the opportunity. I took actually all of my USMLEs in med school. So I took step 1 in 4th year, CK in final year, and then CS right after graduation. And what was the other question?
Yeah, and how you managed to pull it during the med school. And
I had really good friends who took care of my attendance.
Okay.
That's how I managed.
This although this is not the official advice we will give to all the students, but other than that, I just want to know what was your strategy. During med school, it's already stressful, giving all profs and everything. So how you managed, and a big part of, I think, med school is that personality development and hanging out with friends and having that time and having that university experience. So how did your prep impacted those?
Prof, I mean, generally it's a stressful time, but I think for us, it's not all the profs are equally stressful, especially in KE. In my journey, we were all in society, so we were not very punctual in class, going to classes and all that stuff anyways. So I had a pretty early on idea in med school that I want to do neurosurgery, or I knew what it would take. So I wanted to save the time I spend on research and minus the USMLE time. So I had this strategy that if I take my USMLEs in med school, that I would save at least 2 years. And one of my elder brother's classmate, he took USMLE step 1 in final year in that time when I was in 3rd year, I think. Because he had taken it in MBBS, so I had an idea that how to prepare for it. And then in 4th year, at least when I was a student, there wasn't much going on in the university anyways. I think in our time, they canceled the minor wards too or something. So I started preparing in my 3rd year for pharma, micro, and then revised my basic sciences a bit. And then in 4th year, I started pathology and then started doing the UWorld. So
you give your step 1 during your 4th year, right? Acha, okay. And then what about your step 2?
Step 2 is all the final year subjects anyways. So that was easier after have taken step 1. And it took us some time, took me some time because, so I was the president of CAPS, my best friend was president of ADS, my other friend was president of GEDS. So I had to take a break for 6 months so that we could manage all those things. And then I took my CK at the end of my final year before prof.
Acha, Asad, in particularly, what I want you to focus is, step 1 or step 2 ki to humne baat kar li. But what I want you to focus on is you did some electives as well, and subsequently you did a lot of research. So how to get those opportunities, how to seek for those? This is a very common question I get from all the juniors all the time. कि electives कैसे मिलेंगे, research कैसे मिलेगी, and you did that for quite a while. You know, was it a paid research, unpaid, on what kind of visa? So I just want, starting from electives, starting actually from like reaching out to programs, applying for electives and everything, till this day, I just want you to summarize that, okay, how someone else can follow the same strategy and get achieve the same things.
आई थिंक आज के कोविड की वजह से डिफरेंट है हालात. यूनिवर्सिटी प्रोग्राम्स ने इलेक्टिव्स बंद किए हैं स्पेशली फॉर इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स. लेकिन अगर आपने स्टेप 1 स्पेशली दिया हुआ था पहले, तो you could apply to programs that do not require a lot of money. I did elective in Mayo and Cleveland Clinic, and they all charged like I think $500 at that time for electives. तो और दूसरा, in surgical specialties elective मिलना आसान है as compared to medicine because there are less people applying to those and there are more programs you can apply to. So during that elective time, sorry, during my final year, जब मैं तैयारी कर रहा था सीखे की, तो I started reaching out to different programs for research. और research ढूंढने का वही सादा देसी तरीका है कि emails ढूंढो, emails करो और अपना plan बताओ कि ये मेरे scores हैं, ये मेरा प्लान है और मैं एटलीस्ट 1 ईयर के लिए अवेलेबल हूँ, और अपने सीवी और लेटर्स और आप ये बताओ कि आप ऐसे यूएस आ रहे हो. जैसे मेरे केस में मैं सब अपनी ईमेल में लिखता था कि ये मेरे स्कोर्स हैं, इस साल मैं ग्रेजुएट कर रहा हूँ और मैं ऑलरेडी अमेरिका आ रहा हूँ ये इन जगहों पे इलेक्टिव्स करने के लिए. दैट गिव्स अ सेंस ऑफ सीरियसनेस टू द अदर पर्सन टू who's reading your application or email. I did had a discussion with at least 2 or 3 of the folks already before going to the US. और electives के दौरान स्पेशली अगर आप जिस स्पेशलिटी में करना चाहते हो आगे pursue, उसमें अगर आप elective करो तो you make connections, if either good or bad. तो उस elective वाले trip में ही I figured out I had an option to either pursue research at Mayo or at Brigham, where I ended up doing research. So that's how I did it.
So this is Farhan. I'm really excited about your journey. I was looking at it, and the whole story is really inspiring. You know, you were leading all these societies. You were on high on the scores, and I was talking to Umar bhai. You know, last month जब हमने ये सारा idea develop किया कि YPC को revamp होना चाहिए. The way our seniors communicate with the juniors, that bridge should be more stronger. तो वहाँ से idea generate हुआ कि जो early time है, like 3rd year, 4th year, that's the time जहाँ पे आप USMLE prepare करें. क्योंकि मैं देख ही रहा हूँ कि अगर step 1 pass fail में जा रहा है, that means that you have an opportunity that if you prepare step 1 during your 3rd year, take the exam by the 4th year, that's when you are in a position. So what is your take on this whole thing? What is your sense? What do you feel? Are medical students in KE able to understand this change and trying to follow this new strategy?
I think आजकल जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं वो जल्दी अर्ली ऑन दे रहे हैं एग्जाम्स, स्पेशली पिछले 1-2 साल में, जिसका मुझे पता है. लेकिन इंपॉर्टेंट बात है कि आप जब मेडिकल स्कूल जाते हो तो यू ऑल्सो, स्पेशली इन माय केस, मैं गुजरांवाला से हूँ और आप वो मैट्रिक एफएससी कर रहे हो तो आपकी जब की में आता है आपकी पर्सनैलिटी उस तरह से डेवलप नहीं होती. तो मेरे केस में वो सोसाइटियों में काम करना, लोगों से इंटरेक्ट करना, दैट गिव्स यू अ लॉट ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस. यू कैन हैव लाइक गुड स्कोर्स, बट इफ यू डोंट हैव अ पर्सनैलिटी, नो वन वुड इंटरेक्ट विद यू. Or that shows up. So enjoying, you have to have some experiences in life to share or to build your character and personality too. So that is important too. In my case, जैसे मैंने पहले 2 साल बहुत enjoy किया था. 3rd year में भी मेरा भाई KDS के president बन गया था, तो वो फिर मजबूरी हो गई थी कि सोसाइटी करनी पड़ेगी. तो लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से आप अगर आप बहुत ज्यादा भी इंजॉय करो, आप स्टिल बहुत अच्छा पढ़ सकते हैं, क्योंकि एनुअल सिस्टम में ये फायदा है. और मेरे हिसाब से आपकी पर्सनालिटी इज वे more important than scores, because I've seen people match even in neurosurgery with the 230 or even low 240s. So that doesn't matter much. Once you're above a cutoff, it doesn't matter.
I'll take Umar Bhai here, and the reason I'm taking him here, just particularly on this point, because he had been leading all these societies during the med school, and he will really enlighten this point that how much the interpersonal interaction plays a role. So, Dr. Umar, what do you think? What is your take on this aspect, particularly not just focusing on the scores, that's part of it, but how you interact? What is the extent of your communication skill, your strength on those parts? I want you to comment on this particular aspect.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much, Farhan. So I completely agree. For my own journey, I went into interventional radiology. It is one of the most competitive specialties as well. And I noticed that jo time I spent in societies in KE, I was the president of Student Patient Welfare Society. I was a part of Literary Society. I was a part of the magazine. I was pretty much in every society. And I think it makes you a better person. I don't think I gave that much to the societies as compared to what they gave me. The interpersonal skills, the communication skills, the leadership skills, वो जो होता है ना जुगाड़ लगाना या कुछ भी करके, to get things done, whatever it takes, वो unfortunately we don't get that personality grooming, like Asad said, during our education, we get that personality grooming, that personality development during our work in societies, and even unfortunately the dirty side of it, the politics. The sports secretary politics and all that teaches you a lot, like how to deal with people, how to be a little diplomatic and getting things done, how to not offend people. So Asad, great work. What I want you to do is quickly summarize for me what you did in terms of like, this is when you started studying for STEPS. This is when you took it. Then when did you do electives? When did you do research? And then how did you apply for match? The entire experience, just go over, and then where did you match? For those people who joined us and they don't know a lot about you.
जी, तो step 1 के लिए मैंने पढ़ना शुरू किया था 3rd year के prof से almost. आजकल मैसेज एग्जाम का subjects तो वही हैं, pharmacology, microbiology और physiology. I studied in 3rd year. और फिर 4th year का पूरा साल मैंने अपने step 1 की तैयारी में लगाया था, और prof से कुछ 1 महीना पहले शायद मैंने एग्जाम दिया था. फिर 4th year के बाद फाइनल ईयर में मैंने CK दिया था. CK इज मेरे ख्याल से इट्स द बेस्ट टाइम टू गिव CK, क्योंकि आप फाइनल ईयर के सब्जेक्ट्स एग्जैक्टली वही हैं, और अगर आपने CK पढ़ा तो you मतलब I scored very well in my 4th year and final year profs because of USMLEs. उसके बाद फाइनल ईयर के एग्जाम्स के बाद जो 2-3 महीने का गैप होता है जिसमें you are considered a student.
Sorry to interrupt you. If you don't mind sharing your scores for those who don't know.
Step 1 is 257, CK is 247, or step 3 is 227, I think.
Okay. So that shows you can get good enough scores while taking USMLE exams during the medical college. Okay, go ahead.
उसके बाद जो फाइनल ईयर के एग्जाम्स के बाद और हमारे पास 2-3 महीने का टाइम होता है जिसमें you're considered a student, लेकिन आप टेक्निकली स्टूडेंट नहीं होते, तो मैंने उसमें electives किए थे और एक ऑब्जर्वरशिप की थी, और तब अपना CS दिया था. और उसके बाद I came back, फिर वो और उसी electives वाले टाइम में 2-3 महीने में मैंने मेयो क्लिनिक में भी देखा कि क्या अपॉर्चुनिटी है रिसर्च की, और फिर ब्रेगम में जहाँ पर मैंने रिसर्च की, जो मेरे मेंटर वहाँ पे था, उनके साथ भी कुछ देर ऑब्जर्वरशिप की, तो मुझे आइडिया हो गया कि दोनों जगहों में से दोनों जगह बहुत अच्छी थी. I didn't want to live in Rochester, इसलिए I chose the Brigham one. और फिर मैं वापस आया, मैंने वीजा वाली प्रोसेसिंग की, J1 रिसर्च पे. फिर मैंने दिसंबर 2018 में, मैं ग्रेजुएट हुआ था मार्च 2018 में, और दिसंबर 2018 में मैंने रिसर्च शुरू की, और जून 2021 2.5 साल तक मैंने रिसर्च की. पहले 2 साल अनपेड थे और लास्ट 6 मंथ फुली पेड थे. उसके बाद मैंने पिछले साल मैथ्स अप्लाई किया था, assuming and after talking to my mentors के electives भी हैं, good scores हैं, fresh graduate हो, और research भी बहुत अच्छी और letters भी बहुत अच्छा था, लेकिन I didn't get enough interviews. I think मेरे 2 interviews थे, एक हार्वर्ड से था और एक कैलिफोर्निया के एक प्रोग्राम से था, और I didn't match. और even though I had a very good relationship with everyone at Brigham, or the critique I got was that 1, you don't have enough clinical experience, or 2nd, more chances of matching are in programs that are not so much focused on pedigrees and prestige and stuff. तो 2-3 जगह US में जो ऑफर करती हैं नॉन एक्रेडिटेड kind of intern year, like a pre-residency fellowship. तो आयोवा उनमें से वो प्रोग्राम था जिसकी काफ़ी अच्छी रिप्यूट थी, काफ़ी एकेडमिक प्रोग्राम है और तकरीबन 15-20 साल से इनका ये प्रोग्राम चल रहा है, तो आई न्यू कि दिस वुड बी द बेटर चॉइस टू गो टू. तो आई केम टू आयोवा लास्ट ईयर और यहाँ पे मैंने अपना मैच अप्लाई किया और इस साल मेरे 6 इंटरव्यूज थे और उनमें से आयोवा में मैच हो गया.
Very good. Asad, how many total spots are for neurosurgery in the US?
240.
240?
जी.
अच्छा, तो कहा तो काफी लोगों ने होगा कि न्यूरोसर्जरी में ना अप्लाई करो and maybe have they have tried to dissuade from you कि IMGs के लिए it's very difficult and even for AMGs it's very competitive. I know that for a fact. So you know, probably 95% of the people would have told you that. So how you got out of that, you know, because what we hear, our brain automatically get conditioned to that, what we keep hearing from, you know, outside.
अच्छा, एक तो जब तक तो मैं पाकिस्तान में था केई में, तब तक तो 100% था मेरा से परसेंटेज ना कहने वाली, लेकिन उसकी वजह ये कि हमारा सीलिंग इफेक्ट बहुत कम है उस, क्योंकि हर आप देखते हो मेडिसिन में मैच होना, सर्जरी में, जनरल सर्जरी में हमने आई नो 2 people probably in the last 5 years जो मैच है. तो लेकिन I think it's important कि when you realize कि who you need to listen to or who you don't. तो I didn't listen. और एक अच्छी बात ये थी कि मेरा भाई था, तो I had an idea कि how things work in USMLEs or it's fine. और I think the important thing is कि मेरे केस में मुझे ये था कि अच्छा, I'm going to give my best, even though if it doesn't work out, that's fine. I'm okay to live with it. लेकिन सिर्फ इस वजह से कि कोई मैच होता नहीं है और देखा नहीं है और ये नहीं है और वो नहीं है और थिंग्स आर नॉट फैक्चुअल, तो अगर आप NRMP का डेटा देखें तो हर साल 8-10 IMGs न्यूरोसर्जरी में मैच हो जाता है. तो मुझे था कि अच्छा चलो ठीक है, 8-10 हो जाते हैं तो एक मैं भी हो ही सकता हूँ, कोई आसमान नहीं गिर जाएगा, तो एक बार कोशिश तो करते हैं. तो लेकिन अब आप फिर मैं US आया तो यहाँ पे IMGs को आप मिलते हो, देखते हो, इवन बल्कि मेरे जो इलेक्टिव्स में भी जो यहाँ पे इलेक्टिव्स कैंप पे आपके प्रोग्राम डायरेक्टर का मीटिंग होती है, आपने गोल्स डिस्कस, इवन दो उन्होंने भी यही कहा कि बहुत मुश्किल है, लेकिन आई थिंक इट्स डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ यू से इट. तो खैर मतलब if you're willing to take the risk or live with uncertainty and all those things, so it's fine.
So I think 2 things.
Usama, sorry, I think for some reason Usama तुम्हारी picture अलग आ रही है और audio अलग आ रही है.
Yeah, I'm not able to log into my laptop. मुझे आवाज नहीं आ रही. I've logged into 2 different places in my phone and my laptop.
I'll let you ask the question, but I have a few questions for Asad.
Asad, I will take back you to basics. Sorry for interruption. The most difficult question that I have been facing since I started USMLE, and that is about elective. I think that's where the difference happens, right from the start. So what do you recommend? Like if someone from 30 and 4th year asks you, where should you find an elective? What was your strategy? Is there any portal, and what will you recommend?
कोई पोर्टल का मुझे तो नहीं पता, लेकिन वैसे केई में क्योंकि इतने ज्यादा लोग USMLE कर रहे होते हैं, आप से 1-2 साल सीनियर, इतने ज्यादा लोग हर साल अमेरिका जा रहे होते हैं, तो यू कैन आस्क देम. मेरे केस में भी मतलब मुझे मेयो क्लिनिक इसलिए पता था कि मेरा एक दोस्त गया था उससे पहले फाइनल ईयर के अंदर. और अगर आप मेरे से KEMCAANA की ही वेबसाइट पे पहले एक लिस्ट भी थी कोई इलेक्टिव्स की वेबसाइट की, जो अब आउटडेटेड है, लेकिन स्टिल उस पे प्रोग्राम्स है, तो यू कैन, और इट्स वेरी टाइम कंज्यूमिंग और पेन्स टेकिंग कि आप एक प्रोग्राम में जाओ और इनकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स देखो, और मेजॉरिटी जो है उनकी फीसेस बहुत ज़्यादा है, लेकिन जितना मुझे पता है कि मेयो और क्लीवलैंड जो इन दो, अगर आपने स्टेप 1 दिया हुआ है तो आप की फीस बहुत कम है. और
well, it's good to know that your personal links really matter a lot. I think I'll take it back to Dr. Umar. Umar bhai, what do you think? KEMCAANA YPC should work on this aspect and try to figure out if there is any updated list of these places?
Yeah, we can easily do that. Absolutely. We can do that. I did the same when I was a medical student. You know, what I did was I compiled a list of all the places that were offering electives, and then I developed an Excel sheet or criteria, Sara jo bhi tha, usko cut off karke, and then I put it on my website. But that list is now more than 10 years old. It's outdated. It's very, very easy. We can recruit 5 or 6 medical students. I think Usama is the best person to do that with our Facebook forum, and assign every person 5 or 6 programs. ठीक है, और everybody इस तरह, मतलब आपके पास 10 बच्चे भी हैं तो you have 50 programs that have been looked at, और अगर आपके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं, आप 10 भी दो तो 100 programs हो गए, उनका अपने Excel sheet में बनाया, and we can easily load it on our website. So that should really help. So that is something, Usama, if you don't mind taking a note of that we can work with our Facebook forum. अच्छा, Asad, I have a few comments, questions. So पहली बात ये है कि एक चीज जो मैंने सीखी थी ना during my time, especially during my time of being president at SPWS, कि सुनो सबकी, करो अपने मन की. You know, उस चीज का इतना फायदा हुआ यार, इतना फायदा हुआ. I went to Hopkins, I was doing medicine elective, और मुझे मेरे attending ने कहा, you are being overly ambitious trying to pursue IR. You know, and I heard those comments again and again. नहीं हो सकता, नहीं मिल सकता, scores low है, experience नहीं है. You know, the people will always find a reason to tell you that you cannot do it, but you can always do it. मेरे पास बहुत सारी एग्जांपल्स हैं, बहुत कंपैरेटिव स्पेशलिटीज की, ENT, डर्मेटोलॉजी, न्यूरोसर्जरी, ऑफ्थल्मोलॉजी, IR, जिसमें पाकिस्तानी मैच हुए हैं, और उसी तरह हुए हैं जिस तरह आप मैच हुए हो, जिस तरह मैं मैच हुआ, राइट? जो ये पाथवे होता है ना कि 2 से 3 साल आप रिसर्च करो, पहले 2 साल अनपेड रिसर्च है, देन यू गेट पेड, देन यू मेक योर लिंक्स, और अगर आपने सर्जरी में जाना है, इफ यू डोंट गेट मैच्ड in your first attempt, you take a prelim spot or whatever you can get, and then you can. I have personally seen 3 people from UK and India who matched into neurosurgery that way. So I think that was such a valuable lesson that I learned during my time in societies. के करो, जरा सुनो सबकी, करो अपने मन की. आपने सोचा है ना न्यूरोसर्जरी में जाना है तो जाना ही जाना है. दूसरा मेरे क्वेश्चन है, मुझे ये बताओ कि how many electives and how many weeks of electives and observerships you did?
I think it would be 12 weeks. 2 elective और 1 observership.
ठीक है, तो 8 हफ्ते के electives थे, clinical electives थे. जी, ठीक है, और 4 weeks की observership थी. जी. तो उसके बाद you applied with your scores and 2 years research. Publications कितनी थी और presentations कितनी?
मेरे ख्याल से इस साल मेरी 20 के करीब publications थी. PubMed Index 50 से 60 वो होंगी presentations.
ठीक है. So this is a very important point for everyone to be noted. देखो, during my time when I was trying to figure this out, everybody told me it doesn't matter कि आपके 10 साल की research है या 2 साल की research है. It does not matter कि आपके कितने साल लगे research में. What truly matters कि जो time लगाया उसमें किया गया, right? So this is a very good example कि अगर वो मुझे कहता ना यार मेरी 1 publication थी या 1-2 presentations थी, तो नहीं हो सकता था. मतलब if you want to truly go in a very competitive specialty, then you're competing for the rest of the world. तो आपने research तो करनी है, लेकिन research में भी अच्छा perform करना है. Try to get multiple publications, multiple presentations, and I'm sure you know this कि मुझे जो लगता था कि सबसे बड़ा barrier हमारे लिए होता है to get publications and presentations कि हमारी English skills वो नहीं होती जो हम लोगों की कई में बैठ के हम लोगों को लगता है. और फिर जब हम इधर आते हैं, हमारी आई ओपनर होता है कि इनकी तो ग्रामर भी डिफरेंट है, इनके एक्सप्रेशन भी डिफरेंट है, रिसर्च की एवरीथिंग जो रेफरेंसिंग से लेके राइटिंग स्टाइल, once you get a hang of it, it is very easy to keep publishing again and again or presentation. So that is one more thing that I would say कि जो बच्चे हैं, जी गो अहेड.
बात भी है वैसे आप इवन आप बहुत ज्यादा भी अगर जैसे आई नो अदर colleagues इनके 100 publication भी हैं but they don't match. तो important बात ये है कि आपके scores, आपके electives, आपकी research का जो number है ये सिर्फ cut off है. आप match, especially neurosurgery में या किसी भी comparative specialty में आप match हो गए अपने lecture की base पर, अपने mentor के word की base पे. So I know people who didn't have a good reputation had of being honest or being sly and slick, और 100 publications and they didn't match. तो ये बात भी बहुत important है. और unfortunately ये भी खैर आपको advice जैसा आप कहते हैं सुनो सबकी. अब अगर आप मुझे देखो तो मैं J1 research पे आया, मेरे पास कोई green card नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, और H1 पे मैं मैच हुआ हूँ. तो things do work out if you go, और especially comparative specialties में ये बहुत ज़्यादा important चीज़ होगी कि आपकी personality कैसी, are you trustworthy or not, or if you can interact with other people or not with respect. जैसे मेरे साल में जो आया था, मैं critique मुझे ये मिली थी कि you were working very hard but you're also treating everyone the right way. क्योंकि इस तरह की स्पेशलिटी में सबसे पहले वो ये देखते हैं कि आप स्ट्रेस के अंदर ब्रेकआउट तो नहीं हो। तो इस वजह से ये सारी चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट हैं, बट दे आर ऑन पेपर. व्हाट योर पर्सनालिटी इज, दैट विल शो इन योर लेटर्स, और दैट्स व्हाट गोइंग टू गेट यू मैच्ड.
Absolutely. Or just to emphasize that, what I've been told, I was doing a research at Stanford University. Our mentors told us कि जो सबसे important चीज है ना, are your mentors willing to phone call for you, recommending you, especially competitive specialty में. That is very, very important. और दूसरा कि मतलब how far would they go for you? What is their, would they invest their own personal time in your personal success? So like you said, of course, you know, these are very, very important things. अब मुझे एक बात बताओ. Have you heard the name of father of neurosurgery, Ayub Umayya? He founded Umayya Reservoir.
अमेरिका में आप किसी को भी बता दो मैं पाकिस्तान से मैं न्यूरोसर्जरी करना चाहता हूँ, तो आपको पूछेगा डू यू नो अयूब उमैया.
तो अब ये जिनको नहीं पता, हम लोगों में ना अनफॉर्चुनेटली, स्पेशली विद पीपल कमिंग फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान और समवट इवन पीपल कमिंग फ्रॉम के, वी हैव दिस इंफीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स. और वो इंफीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स है कि यार हमें तो न्यूरोसर्जरी नहीं मिलनी, हमें तो वैस्कुलर सर्जरी नहीं मिलनी, हमें तो आईआर नहीं मिलनी, हमें तो ईएनटी नहीं मिलनी. सब कुछ मिलता है, बट यू नीड टू वर्क रियली हार्ड. जो बंदा यूएसए में न्यूरोसर्जरी की बुनियाद रखने वाला था, वो एक पाकिस्तानी था, वो एक केमकोलियन था, अयूब उमैया. ठीक है. इसी तरह जिस बंदे ने आईवीसी फिल्टर को, पहला आईवीसी फिल्टर इन्वेंट किया, द पर्सन हु इज नोन एज फादर ऑफ एंडोवैस्कुलर सर्जरी, फादर ऑफ आईआर, मुबीनुद्दीन काजी साहब, he was a Kimcolian, he was a Pakistani. तो ये जो बड़ी बड़ी competitive specialties लेके अमेरिका में बैठे हैं ना, इनको बनाने वाले हम लोग. ठीक है. तो we are, and still some of the very big names in neurosurgery and IR are Pakistani, right? आपके Henry Ford में पाकिस्तानी है, you know, the right, blanking on his name, I've talked to him. वो he is a Pakistani neurosurgeon. IR में हमारे पास इस वक्त 3-4 लोग हैं जो कि SIR में बहुत बड़ा नाम है. तो don't underestimate yourself, don't have an inferiority complex. सिर्फ ये है कि हम चूंकि फॉरेनर्स हैं तो हमें एक पाथवे फॉलो करना पड़ता है कि आपके स्कोर्स भी अच्छे होंगे, आपके रेफरेंसेस भी अच्छे होंगे, आपके लेटर्स भी अच्छे होंगे, और आपकी रिसर्च भी अच्छी होगी, and then you match in this competitive specialty. And when you do, because you went through all this, you perform much better than all the other people who didn't do any of this. Right? Would you like to add anything to this, Asad?
Absolutely, I totally agree with you.
Chalo, sahi hai. Anybody else has any questions? Great work, Asad. Inshallah, we'll stay in touch. We'll see you around. One request to all the participants, कि आप सबके लिए, if you're a trainee, KEMCAANA की membership free है. So if you can join it, please consider joining KEMCAANA. It's a big help for the institution, and it enables us to help more people.
Acha, I want to add just a couple of things. So whatever you know, as I said, I think the take-home message is to stay the course and look for right mentors. Of course, if you ask someone in internal medicine that I want to go into neurosurgery, and of course they will say that nahi possible nahi hai. So know who you have to reach out to, who you have to ask the question. Second thing is I will go back to Asad and ask this question. कि काफी जो है ना वो अमेरिकन सोसाइटीज हैं you know, which really value and incorporate the work of medical students or people in training. For example, interventional radiology में जो है ना Society of Interventional Radiology है, जो मेडिसिन में है वो अमेरिकन कॉलेज ऑफ फिजिशियन है. ठीक है. तो इसी तरह न्यूरोसर्जरी में है. And I think in these societies, presenting in these societies, poster presentation or you know, volunteering for these societies, there are multiple like student subsections. You can do that, and you can develop really great questions. I know one of my class fellows, she actually matched into pathology, and she there is American College of Pathology or something like that. I'm blanking out on the name, and they have some like mentorship programs to increase diversity and inclusivity in pathology match. And you know, that's where we come in, because as you know, we are in underrepresented segment who is being matched. Like I think that if you pick up the data, like how many Pakistani physicians are there in neurosurgery, or if you pick up the data, how many Pakistani physicians there are in interventional radiology. So these societies, they're really trying to, increase the diversity and representation in all the, across all the spectrum, across all ethnicities and different cultural backgrounds. So Asad, I'll go back to you. So tell me that how that helped, these societies, if you were part of anything or if you presented it. And particularly, I know that during presentation, you can develop great connections. Like you might not know actually the program director or, associate program director or leadership of some of the program. They might be over there and they come and chat you about your poster.
जी, मैं से काफ़ी ज़्यादा फ़ायदा है, लेकिन उसका इम्पोर्टेंट फ़ायदा ये होता है कि आप जिस प्रोग्राम से गए होते हैं तो उन्हें पता लगता है कि आप एक बंदा अगर 2 या 3 प्रेजेंटेशंस दे रहा है वर्सेस अगर उनके रेजिडेंट्स मिला के उनकी 2 प्रेजेंटेशंस हैं, तो एक तो वो बात, दूसरा आपकी कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स डेवलप होती हैं, क्योंकि मैं तो ज़िंदगी में जब पहली दफ़ा मेरी ऑरल प्रेजेंटेशन थी, मैं तो किसी साइंटिफिक मीटिंग में नहीं गया हुआ था उससे पहले लेट अलोन प्रेजेंट करने, तो आपकी वो स्किल्स डेवलप होती हैं। आप अगर आपसे लोग क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं ऑडियंस में, यू गेट टू नो द पीपल रेलेवेंट, क्योंकि अब जो बंदा सोसाइटी की मीटिंग में आने के जिसके पास टाइम है, सीनियर बंदा, वो ऑब्वियसली या तो चेयर है या तो डीन है या कुछ बड़ा बंदा है जिसके पास टाइम है इस तरह की चीज़ों के लिए। तो उसका काफ़ी फायदा था। आजकल मेरे ख्याल से जो कनेक्ट करने का सबसे आसान तरीका वो ये कि आप ट्विटर पे जाएं, आप सर्च करें, प्रोग्राम के नाम से सर्च करें या न्यूरोसर्जरी के नाम से या ENT या जो भी आप स्पेशलिटी करना चाहते हो। तो मुझे काफ़ी ज़्यादा लोग फैकल्टी में ट्विटर पे हैं, एटलीस्ट इन माय एक्सपीरियंस, तो आप वहाँ से आप बहुत ज़्यादा आसानी से कनेक्ट कर सकते हो उनके साथ। और यूजुअली जो लोग रिसर्च में बड़ा नाम है, दे आर मोर ओपन टू IMGs, जिसकी वजह है कि आप 1-2 साल के लिए काम करने को तैयार हो गए। और उसका खैर वो एक इनिशियली आपको लगता है कि आप अनपेड काम कर रहे हो, ये है वो, लेकिन इफ यू लुक एट द बिगर पिक्चर तो इट हेल्प्स नोइंग समवन important in your field.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so I'm gonna move to our next speaker.
Before we do that, I have a couple of comments. So अभी कुछ questions आ रहे हैं. We won't be taking any questions right now. आप लोग अपने questions chat में लिख लो. Usama और Farhan will keep an eye on the chat and we will answer all the questions at the end. We don't want we will be lost in the sea of questions right now. We will make sure all our speakers get a chance to talk and speak and express themselves, and we will answer all the questions at the end. You can post your questions here in the chat, या YouTube live के comments में, just in the live chat, you can ask your questions. दूसरा, we also have our president of KEMCAANA, Dr. Fateh Shehzad. He's a revolutionary leader. He's a great guy. Like, think about it. हम लोगों को, he provided a platform. He gathered us all together, provided us a platform, and he's doing a phenomenal work. One more thing that probably you guys don't need, कि पहले जब लोगों को रेजिडेंसी मिलती थी तो they would spend weeks and months to get visa, और वो इतना lengthy process था, उसमें से एक statement of need चाहिए होती थी. That was a very complicated process. He worked with some people in the government of Pakistan. He simplified the entire process और अब वो कुछ घंटों में लोगों को मिल रहा है. इसके अलावा फतेह भाई ने पिछले 4 साल से मैं देख रहा हूँ, उन्होंने, हम तो 2-4 लोगों की हेल्प करते हैं, वो 100-200 लोगों को वीजा मेक श्योर करते हैं कि दे गेट देयर वीजा. अभी भी हम एक J1 व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है जिसको वो चला रहे हैं. आई कैन हार्डली कीप एन आई ऑन के कितने मैसेजेस आए हैं. वो उन तमाम बच्चों के मेक श्योर कर रहे हैं कि सबको उनकी रेजिडेंसी वीजा मिल रहे हैं. एंड आई नो ही डिड दैट फॉर hundreds of people in the past couple of years. So he's a great guy, and we are lucky that such a hardworking person, dedicated person, is the president of KEMCAANA this year. So can we have few words from Fateh bhai? Fateh bhai, please make sure your mic is on unmute, and we can have you speak few words before we proceed to the next speakers.
Ji, assalamu alaikum everybody, and welcome to this webinar, and thank you Umar and all your team. You guys are doing very good job. I'm really very pleased and honored to be helpful to Cambodian or any other Pakistani physician who are graduated or their students in assisting them with the visa process and getting observership, clinicalship, clerkship. So I'm here for you all. That's what my passion is, to help young physicians and students. So we do visit King Edward Medical College, King Edward Medical University. I still say college. It used to be college when I was a student. So we will be going this year also, and every year, inshallah, we will have KEMCAANA as well as Apna meeting in December. So I will be available in person to you all at KEMU campus. And we will have a small webinar in person, interactive section over there. As far as need and assistance for visa is concerned, you are more than welcome to contact me. I will leave my WhatsApp number and email on the chat. Why are you laughing, Omar?
Fateh bhai सिर्फ आप ही कर सकते हैं ये मतलब you know, considering how many messages we get, there have been times when I've gotten more than 150 messages a day, and I really admire, respect, devotion of Fateh bhai ke he is reviewing all of them, and you know, मेरे लिए काफी मुश्किल है, like having a full-time work and with a family is just impossible to reply every single person, and I'm guilty of that, but I don't know how you find time to do all of this, and I'm really in awe of all of that you do.
Thank you. You mentioned about 200 to 300 actually last year, including B1s and J1 and other visa. There were close to 1,000 people that I assisted with getting visas and handling their administrative processing. So, and this year we have around 317 who will require J1 and H1. So they're all on the group soon. I don't know if any one of you is on the group, but one, you will be getting residency. Actually, what I do is I start before the match. All those applicants, we make a group like Umar and I did last year. So we'll continue with that, and then we kind of filter from that group to the new group who do get matched. So then we help them with the next phase of the residency, which is how to get various things done like NPI and social security number, visa application during and SON. So we're here for you all, don't worry. And meanwhile, during your medical student life, if you need any assistance, we are here. Other thing KEMCAANA does for young physicians and the students is we provide scholarships. Close to 100 undergraduate scholarship, which is around 8,000 a month. We also provided 36 scholarships postgraduate to help with USMLE steps and to have a step 3 fee and traveling or expenses to help with the match expenses. It's $5,000 each. So we had 36 scholarships. That's a huge number and it's growing. The postgraduates are mostly loans that students are supposed to return, which they are returning. Those who are in second year, third year, fourth year, they're doing their jobs, they're returning, and those funds are not given back to the donors. They come back to KEMCAANA, and KEMCAANA can use those funds to increase number of loans next year. For you all, any question today, you can ask in the chat, and I will be listening to your webinar till end. I have a next webinar coming for Apna YPC, which is mostly for visa and SON. So I will be attending that, and some of you might be joining that. Thank you, Umar.
Mashallah, very nice. Thank you very much, Fateh bhai. So for those who don't know, KE mein bhi rehte hue, and even after leaving KE and coming to America, we used to hear a lot, Apna kya karti hai, KEMCAANA wale kya karte hain, you know, they take all this money and they do this. I think this is something I want to specifically address. This is a perfect example. The thing is कि एक चीज मैंने SPWS में रहते हुए सीखी थी कि जो काम करो उसका ढोल बजाओ. I think हम लोग ढोल कम बजाते हैं और काम ज्यादा करते हैं. And this is a perfect example आपके सामने KEMCAANA की कि हजारों बच्चों के वीजे लग रहे हैं. आपके सामने 36 बच्चे जो अभी हैं जिनको $5,000 की स्कॉलरशिप मिली है, $1,80,000 अपनी जेब से निकाल के दिए. मैं फाइनेंस कमेटी का भी मेंबर हूँ, उसमें मैंने देखा है कि लोग अपनी जेब से $5,000-10,000 दे रहे हैं ताकि हमारे रनिंग डे टू डे एक्सपेंसेस चल सकें. And all we are requesting is कि आप लोग सिर्फ KEMCAANA की जो हमारी organization हो उसको join करो and acknowledge the fact that there are people who are working too hard, like Fateh Bhai, like Farhan, like others, you know, who want to make sure that we help you guys. So आपके सामने है कि how much KEMCAANA is doing. We are personally invested in your success, and that is the entire reason for doing this webinar, this session, and many more sessions by YPC. Acknowledge this, and जब आप लोग attending बन जाओ, continue this process of giving back. Join KEMCAANA, work actively, help other students. क्योंकि इससे कड़ी से कड़ी चलती रहती है. We all succeed together. अगर आप अपनी सिर्फ personal success में invest रहोगे and you don't help, guide or mentor any other juniors, then that's not your success. जंगल में मोर नाचा किसने देखा? You know, so just few things, and now we can proceed with this. I just wanted to take a second to appreciate everything that KEMCAANA has done over the years. Especially for the past 2 decades. When I was a student, KEMCAANA helped me, and now I'm a part of KEMCAANA, and we will help all of you guys. You know, in all of you guys, mashallah, Asad could be the next KEMCAANA president after you know, few years, and you know, just continue this process of giving back. Chalo, Sama, go ahead. Back to you.
Yeah, and I would highly encourage you know, who are in USMLE journeys to apply for those scholarships. Particularly girls, KEMCAANA का जो है ना वो एक goal जो है, it's a very big goal to increase more girl representation and help more females to successfully match, because they face different kind of hurdles as compared to boys. और जो है and also Fateh Bhai, he's very kind to share his like WhatsApp number and email, but be very mindful reaching out to him. He has a full-time practice. और काफी लोग जो है ना वो फ्रस्ट्रेशन भी उनसे जाहिर करते हैं वीजे के मामले पे सारा कुछ. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे ही डज नॉट हैव लाइक अ मैजिक वैंड कि वो उसको घुमाएंगे और जो है ना वो वीजा लग जाएगा. ही कैन ओनली एडवोकेट एंड help on his part, so which has helped a whole lot, and I'm already seeing a whole lot of improvement in that process. So that brings me to our next guest, Faika, who's matched at Abington. So Faika, first of all, I would just for people who don't know you,
before you go to Faika, just because you mentioned about the female representation or the girls. Just very encouraging news. Out of 317, which I have the data, 128 are girls, which is the maximum number that matched this year of female doctors. So it's a very good number, as well as very encouraging. Used to be doctors, lady doctors go to medical school just to get married. This is not anymore true. So you guys should know that the girls are not only participating in medical care, healthcare in Pakistan, but all over the world, and USA is 40+% match this year. So this is it's a big, actually the highest number this year.
Very good, thank you. So I'll go to our next guest. So Faika, why don't you introduce yourself to people who don't know you, and just share like a brief, you know, a snapshot of your CV, like what you did at what time, and you know, your elective and research experience, and we'll kind of go from there.
Hi everybody, my name is Faika, and I graduated from KE in 2019, October of 2019. I was from the batch of 2018, but I graduated in 2019. Right after graduation, I did 2 electives. I did one at UIC in rheumatology and one at St. Jude's. It was in bone marrow transplant. And then I took my CS. I didn't take any other exams in med school. I was just too lazy. And then like after graduating, I prepared for step 1. My step 1 got delayed by like 6 months or something because wo pandemic aa gaya tha. I remember like a month before my exam, everything shut down और हम लोग बस घर बैठे हुए थे. तो step 1 के बाद I took my step 2. I think I spent like six months for CK and for step 1 it was like very prolonged because I was at home doing absolutely nothing क्योंकि सब कुछ बंद हो गया था. So after I was done with CK around June. But I knew कि मेरे पास बीच में थोड़ी सी window होगी, so I started sending out emails around December, January. Just say Asad Bhai said that he just sent out, I looked up email addresses of faculty. I knew I wanted to do IM. I didn't have any doubts about that. So I just like looked up emails of everybody. I started with Mayo, Cleveland, all the big names, and I would send out emails to every subspecialty. मुझे उस वक्त नहीं अंदाजा था कि मुझे क्या करना है. I just knew I wanted to go into IM. I was very persistent about it. I sent a lot of emails. I attached my score reports. I told them I'd be willing to do it. Like I would be willing to work as an unpaid trainee. And then I got a position at Mayo in Hemong. And I joined it like मैंने June में CK दिया था. उसके next week में flight थी. So I've been in here in Rochester. And I know what you mean by not wanting to live in Rochester, because the winter here was absolutely brutal. But I still wouldn't change it for the world, because I had like I wasn't like I wasn't part of, like, I was part of societies, but I wasn't that active. I've always been a very shy person. But this experience, coming here alone, living by myself, it just like it makes you grow so much. So other than the fact that I got like great mentors out of my research experience, and I think I made good connections, it's also just the fact that I got to have this experience of, like, particularly coming as a girl from Pakistan, akele aake rehna, apartment karna, sab kuch karna. So I think it was a really good learning experience in that sense as well. बाकी ये कि I think if like मुझे एक जो regret है, if I could do things differently, I would definitely take at least one of my exams during my med school, and then I would spend 2 years doing research instead of one, because मैंने June में start किया था and September में मेरी application चली गई थी, तो my application did not have a lot compared to what is on my CV now. So I could just talk about it in my interviews. I couldn't really like, it was not on my CV, right? But I had a bunch of stuff. मेरी ASH में presentation थी, मेरी publications तब तक थी, but like June to September तक I didn't have a lot on my CV. The submissions थी, लेकिन published नहीं था. So if I could change that, I just spend another year doing research, because I know that it would have helped like a lot. Like मेरे ज़हन में एक तो ऐसा एक regret नहीं होता. I'm still very grateful, alhamdulillah. लेकिन I think research is very, very important, because अब IM इतनी ज़्यादा competitive हो गई है, like, because everybody goes into IM. So it's just that हमारे ज़हन में होता है, a lot of the people when they're applying, they just want to get in, right? हमारे mostly मेरा भी पहले यही था कि I just want to get in. I just want to get into a residency position. But when you come to a place like Mayo, or like a good academic center, you realize that you actually, like, just because you're an IMG, आपके लिए इतने hurdles हो जाते हैं, but you actually do deserve better. Like, the people that actually go to all the big places, there's nothing like उनके अंदर कुछ बहुत special नहीं होता, but it's just about हमारे, because as an IMG you just start पीछे, अगर उनका starting point ये है तो आपका starting point ये है. So I guess being here also made me realize that मतलब मेरे अंदर कोई वो मसला नहीं है, like I'm just as good as everybody else. AMGs, IMGs, I'm just as good. So it's been a great experience, honestly. And मेरे से अगर कोई पूछता है तो I always tell them to, अगर आपके CV में कोई ऐसा बन जाता है time to do a research year, I think you should do it. I think you should actually do it for 2 years, because it helps a lot, like a lot.
Acha, Faika, before going to the USMLE, I will ask you a very pertinent question, which a lot of girls who might be attending this webinar, they might have in their minds. That I assume your parents were very supportive and everything, but you know, how to talk to parents about it? You know, okay, you want to do this. एंड ऑफ कोर्स एक पेरेंट्स को दिल में होता है कि जो है ना बेटी वो चली जाएगी, अमेरिका चली जाएगी, हमसे इतनी दूर उधर कोई नहीं है, तो हाउ विल शी मैनेज एंड एवरीथिंग. So how to, you know, how did you had that conversation with your parents, or any tips, you know, you can give to different girls, that how to navigate that conversation, how to decrease their apprehension, which is, you know, sometimes it can be valid, because you know, a lot of the girls, they have never been out of, you know, the home country, and
going so far away. So it can become very overwhelming and apprehensive. And sometimes as a defense mechanism, you know, that simple first answer is no. So how to navigate around?
So like you said, I actually did, alhamdulillah, have very supportive parents. My mom's been a working woman all her life. My मतलब मेरी तो अम्मी ने पूरी जिंदगी काम किया, तो they were actually very supportive. Or another thing that I had going in my favor was I had family here already. मेरा भाई होता है, मेरी बहन यहाँ Wisconsin होती है, तो it was just that they knew that I wouldn't be completely alone. But आपकी बात बिल्कुल सही है. Like I like particularly जब मैंने पूरे साल के लिए आना था, for electives they were fine कि सही है जाओ, you should go, you should, you know, experience that. लेकिन जब मैंने पूरे साल के लिए आना था तो my mom in particular बहुत apprehensive थी. But then, you know, you just have to, I don't know about हर एक की घर की situation different होती है. I really don't know how to answer. लेकिन you just have to be persistent, you know, you tell them that this is like सही है, आप we're all adults, right? इस उम्र में आके like आप कितना वो कर सकते हो. You just need to tell them that this is what I want to do. Or you, अगर आप आराम से बैठ के you sit down and you have this conversation with them कि मैंने घर में बैठ के भी क्या करना है, you know, like my mom was like तुम जा रही हो, like मैं घर में बैठ के क्या करूँ, like what's there for me at home, like there's like I don't know how to say it, but there's not a lot for me back home either. So I did have to have those difficult conversations, but it's just about एक तो alhamdulillah वैसे I did have a lot of support, लेकिन it's just about not letting them or their fears, which are valid, not letting them make your decisions for you at this point, I guess. और ऊपर से फिर ये होता है कि if you do have family तो वो that's also really helpful. तो आप उनको ये भी बता सकते हो कि ओ मैं इधर जा रही हूँ तो वहाँ पे पास में ये रहता है तो I'll be safe, I'll stay in touch. But I guess हर एक का family का वो different होता है. I didn't really, honestly, मुझे इतना मसला नहीं हुआ था. My parents were and still are very supportive of what I'm doing with my life and my career.
So just to add to that, like I think it also helps कि you can just say कि जिसने बिगड़ना है उसने पाकिस्तान में भी बिगड़ना है. इस तरह थोड़ा है कि exclusively आप अमेरिका जाओगे और दूसरा पाकिस्तान में एक unfortunately due to the media एक थोड़ा perception भी है कि आप जाओगे तो रोचेस्टर में पता नहीं टाइम स्क्वायर होगा और टाइम स्क्वायर में आप पता नहीं क्लब, ऐसे थोड़ी होता है. मतलब you are all adults and we are all grown ups, we know how to take care of it. जिसने बिगड़ना है वो आपको जैसे पता है पाकिस्तान में भी बिगड़ सकता है. और दूसरा you know जैसे आपने कहा ढीठ और जिद्दी बन जाओ, जितना भी वो कहें अपनी जिद पे कायम रखो, बहुत ज्यादा ना करो, लेकिन always try your best.
Because at the end of the day हम adults इस उम्र में आके we are adults and we should be allowed to make our own decisions. और मैं अब जैसे मैं उनको कहती हूँ I honestly I don't know because if it's Rochester or whatever, लेकिन I feel I've never felt as safe as I do in this town. And मैंने कभी लाहौर में इतना safe नहीं feel किया जितना मैं यहाँ safe feel करती हूँ. So like just because I'm a girl I can't travel, even though I've always felt safer here. मतलब लाहौर से ज़्यादा मैं यहाँ safe feel करती हूँ. तो maybe that could be part of the conversation, or you could connect them to people here. जैसे if अगर मैं किसी के अम्मी से बात करूँगी तो you know they'll be like, मतलब because I've lived through that experience, उनको थोड़ा सा शायद हौसला हो जाए. So
okay, very good, definitely. So I will Faika, I will come back to you about get some more information about research and everything. I'm gonna jump to Rabia, and so Rabia, why don't you introduce yourself? And my first question to you is gonna be the same. Before starting USMLE and everything, you know, talking to your parents and everything, how to do that. So after, just introduce yourself, and after that, the same question I asked Faika.
मैं जो थी, I was the first person in my family who came into a medical college. There was no one before me जो कि मतलब इस फील्ड में था. तो मुझे USMLE का पता ही बाद में, जब के आके मुझे सारी गाइडेंस मिली. तो मेरे पेरेंट्स के लिए तो ये बहुत बड़ी बात थी जब मैंने उन्हें कहा कि इस तरह एग्जाम होता है और फिर आप बाहर चले जाते हैं. और अभी भी वो डरते हैं। लेकिन शुरू में मेरे जो 1-2 साल मैंने नहीं शुरू किया, 3rd ईयर तक आई डिडंट स्टार्ट माय प्रिपरेशन, वो यही वजह थी कि मेरे पेरेंट्स नहीं मानते थे। लेकिन फिर उनको मैंने बताया कि बिकॉज इन माय क्लास देयर वर लॉट ऑफ गर्ल्स हु आर डूइंग इट, मतलब मेरी क्लास में प्रोपोर्शन ज्यादा था, तो आई यूज्ड टू गिव देम एग्जांपल्स कि ये लड़की अब गई है, इलेक्टिव्स पे गई है। और मेरे फादर आने के चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट थे, बट ही वाज स्टिल स्केयर्ड, वो अभी भी डरते हैं कि तुम जाओगी इतनी दूर। लेकिन बट आई यूज्ड टू डू वाज कि मैं उनको एग्जांपल्स देती थी। आई यूज्ड टू सी यूट्यूब वीडियोस ऑफ उमर भाई, जहाँ पे वो लड़कियों को जो फीमेल रेजिडेंट्स है वहाँ पे, आई यूज्ड टू शेयर दोज लिंक्स विद माय फादर कि ये भी तो गई हुई थी। इस तरह करके आई थिंक आई वाज परसुएसिव, मतलब मुझे 3rd ईयर तक टाइम लगा था। ही नेवर एग्रीड। मेरी अम्मी मान गई थी बिकॉज शी न्यू दैट आई रियली वांटेड टू डू इट। तो मैंने तो ये स्ट्रेटेजी यूज की थी कि आई यूज टू शो हिम कि लोग जाते हैं, लड़कियां अकेले भी जाती हैं, हमेशा सिर्फ शादी करके ही तो नहीं जाना होता। तो आई थिंक फॉर मी दिस टेक्निक रियली वर्क।
Okay, very good. So I guess the take-home message kind of is be persistent and talking to your parents. And secondly, this is what I tell everyone, that have a plan and start studying for your USMLE. Step 1 दे दो, उसके बाद parents खुद ही मान जाएंगे. So have some, show them something that you have some stake in it. इंस्टेड ऑफ कि मैंने पहले ही आप जो है ना को पहले ही बम फाड़ो कि मैंने जाके इलेक्टिव करने. इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट आई वुड सजेस्ट कि जो है अपना स्टेप 1 दो आप, और उसके बाद they would be much more accepting, and have a plan. That's very important, because if you don't have a plan for yourself, they would have a plan for yourself. So which a lot of time
हाँ उसामा, जस्ट टू ऐड टू दैट, वो पता है क्या, हम लोगों को ना बचपन से पेरेंट्स ने ना हमारे साथ एक साइकोलॉजी लगाई थी, बेटा मैट्रिक कर लो उसके बाद पढ़ाई छोड़ देना, बेटा एफएससी कर लो उसके बाद पढ़ाई छोड़ना ना, बेटा एमबीबीएस कर लो उसके बाद पढ़ाई छोड़ देना। तो वो जो है ना कि उसके बाद लाइफ में ऐश ही ऐश है, मैट्रिक हो जाए बस ऐश ही ऐश है, एफएससी हो जाए, एमबीबीएस हो जाए। आप रिवर्स साइकोलॉजी लगा लो कि मुझे स्टेप्स देने थे, नंबर तो आने नहीं मेरे, मतलब इतना मैं कौन सा लायक हूँ, अच्छे एक दफा नंबर आ जाए तो आप कह देखिए इतने अच्छे नंबर आ गए हैं, तो फिर मेरा ख्याल है हमें इजाजत मिलनी चाहिए।
Yeah, definitely. So if you have some stake in the game, then definitely they will be supporting. So I think I'll go back to Faika. So Faika, can you tell me कि जो research experience है, lots of as I asked us the same question as well, कि काफी लोग जो है ना वो उनका यही default question होता है कि research कैसे मिलनी है. How did you find that opportunity? What kind of visa you went on? And then from that, how did you manage to, let's say like rent an apartment or find a place over there and, accomplish all of that just by yourself?
So like I said, I decided that I wanted to do this around December, January. So I started sending out like emails. Like I sent out a lot of emails. Usme I would tell them कि मैंने ये एग्जाम्स कर लिए हैं, this is my resume and I'm willing, like I would particularly mention कि मुझे एक तो वीजा चाहिए होगा, दूसरा ये कि I'm willing to work as an unpaid trainee for a year. So so yeah, you have to be, it's about being persistent, because मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा emails भेजे थे, most people don't reply, अगर कोई करता है तो they don't have a spot, और मेरी कोई पहले इतनी research थी भी नहीं, तो I wasn't like a stellar candidate for it anyway. I guess उसमें फिर एक तो A, you have to be persistent, B, you have to get a little bit lucky. उसके अलावा it also really helps if you know somebody who's doing it. Like अगर जैसे मुझे नहीं पता था कि it's like such a big thing कि यहाँ पे इतने ज़्यादा लोग करते हैं, मुझे तो because मेरी जो mentor हैं, she's from Pakistan, so I think that sort of worked in my favor. So I guess when you're looking up emails of people, so somebody who's from the South Asian region, they're more likely to help out. So उनको आप ज़्यादा preference दे दो. उसके अलावा once you get I'm on a J1R visa. अभी मैंने उसको I'm going on an H1, तो मैंने उसको conversion भी करानी है. The visa for Mayo का ये है कि their legal department is very they're pretty good. तो वो मुझे इतना मसला नहीं हुआ था वीजा का. They sent me like a letter that said कि oh she's coming to do like बहुत important because वो तब कोविड का पूरा चल रहा था, तो like I didn't have a problem in my visa. अपार्टमेंट्स के लिहाज से like I did, क्योंकि मेरा एग्जाम था उसके बिल्कुल 4-5 दिन बाद मेरी फ्लाइट थी, तो I just like got in touch with people here. like I मतलब बहुत ज्यादा ढूंढ ढांड के मैंने किसी को देखा था जो यहाँ पे होता है, फिर they send you links to के इधर इधर देख लो. बट वही कि जब मैं आई थी तो my apartment was really, I was living by myself. This was like the first time that I'd left home, like पक्का I'd left, right? तो मैं आई थी, मेरा अपार्टमेंट was really bad, मतलब मैं बहुत बुरे हालात में रह रही थी. But then I found another girl जो कराची से थी, then we moved in together to a slightly better place. तो उसके अलावा like when I started my research, it's also about like मिल तो जाती है, like I know a lot of people who are here, but not everybody gets the same thing out of it. उसमें ये होता है कि it depends a lot on your mentor कि वो कितनी research करते हैं, right? तो before you accept a position, I would recommend looking at their like Google Scholar, देख लो उनका कि उनमें कितनी citations हैं और how actively do they still do it. तो जो मेरे वो थे like he is very active in it. और दूसरा ये होता है कि शुरू में because you have to let them know that you're not just here for the sake of being here. तो जब मैं आई थी तो I worked very hard. क्योंकि मेरा कोई एग्जाम नहीं था, मैंने step 3 देना था, but I still had time before it. तो when I got here, I remember I landed, मैं संडे को रात को पहुंची थी क्योंकि मेरी फ्लाइट भी डिले हो गई थी. तो I landed like a whole day later और मैंने मंडे को जाना था. तो the first week and my like जो मेरी PI थी, she gave me work like Wednesday को I was like मेरा सब सारी जो ट्रेनिंग वगैरह थी I was done and I already had work by Wednesday. तो I did not like वो इतनी लंबी फ्लाइट के बाद I did not, मेरा अपार्टमेंट बिल्कुल खाली था. like I ordered a mattress and a bed, but I didn't even have time to like उसको मैं बना सकूं कर सकूं. I just slept I just slept on my floor for 1 week straight. और फिर फ्राइडे को बैठ के मैंने अपना बेड बनाया था, मैंने अपना मैट्रेस रखा था. so all those little like milestones, पाकिस्तान में तो you don't like आपके जहन में भी नहीं इस तरह की चीजें आती. But the point that I was trying to make with this was that once you get it, you have to work really, really hard to prove yourself. You know, the first couple of months that I was here, I worked throughout the weekends. Like मैं Saturday को भी काम पे जाती थी, मैं Sunday को भी काम पे जाती थी, even though like they wouldn't like मेरी कोई इतनी वो नहीं थी कि I'm sitting right next to where my PIs are, but I just wanted to leave, like I wanted to start off on the right foot. Because again, they would only help me later in the math cycle if they thought I was good enough. So once you get it, you have to be like, you have to prove yourself. And तो मैंने शुरू में काफी ज्यादा मेहनत की थी, and they did like again like मेरी CV में when I applied इतना ज्यादा नहीं था, but I did like मुझे मेरी जो मेरे PIs थे, they did help out जब interviews आ रहे थे. they sent out emails on my behalf. और फिर जब मेरी rank list बन रही थी, I had like I didn't even ask. They were like, we'll do it for you because you do like you work so hard, so you do deserve it. तो they sent out emails जब rank order मतलब जब rank order list बन रही थी तब भी उन्होंने email send out किए थे. So once you get the position, it's also what you do with it, because I know other people here who didn't like for lack of better words, who didn't get as much out of it as I did. तो उस पे भी बहुत फर्क फिर पड़ता है.
So Faika, just a couple of comments. जो भी बच्चे अभी सुन रहे हैं, बच्चियां भी, सबके लिए एक दो इम्पोर्टेंट बातें जो कि मैं हमेशा अपनी वीडियोस में भी कहता आया हूँ. फर्स्ट, डोंट लिव इन अ बबल. ठीक है, डोंट स्टे आइसोलेटेड. योर बेस्ट चांस ऑफ नेटवर्किंग फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ इज इन योर med school. जो आपके इर्द गिर्द लोग हैं, आपके दोस्त हैं, आपके सीनियर्स हैं, आपके जूनियर्स हैं, उनसे दोस्तियां करो. आपके सीनियर्स को रेजिडेंसी मिलेगी, वो आपको इंटरव्यूज देके देंगे. आपको जब गाइडेंस चाहिए तो आपकी जो सीनियर बाजियां हैं वही आपको बहुत बेहतर गाइड कर सकती हैं. और दे कैन इवन टॉक टू योर पेरेंट्स एंड यू नो हेल्प यू कन्विंस योर पेरेंट्स अगर कोई ऐसा मसला है. तो डोंट लिव इन अ बबल, डोंट स्टे आइसोलेटेड, इंटरेक्ट विद एज मेनी पीपल एज यू कैन. लोगों से दोस्तियां करो और जेन्युइन दोस्तियां करो. इसलिए दोस्तियां ना करो कि आपका पर्सनल फायदा हो, इसलिए दोस्तियां करो you want to like हम में से बहुत लोग हैं, मैं उसामा फरहान, we go back like 15 years or longer. राइट। दूसरी बात ये है कि अगर नहीं पता, अनफॉर्चुनेटली काफी बच्चों को नहीं पता होता, अमेरिका में ना रूम सर्वेंट नहीं होते, तो प्लीज खाना शाना बना के ना सीख के आओ थोड़ा बहुत, कि आपको पता हो, चाहे लड़का हो या लड़की हो, और छोटे मोटे बेसिक काम के कैसे करने हैं, यू नो, लर्न इट, के अगर अपना सर्वाइव कैसे करना है, अगर खाना अपने लिए बनाना है तो कैसे बना सकते हो, चाहे अंडा रोटी पकड़ के करो, डू ऑल दैट। तो बाकी जैसे ये कह रही हैं, मतलब सारे आपके सामने सक्सेसफुल कैंडिडेट्स हैं, इनमें से कोई भी बंदा जो होता है ना, वो ये नहीं होता कि भाई मैंने तो कोई मेहनत नहीं की लाइफ में, मार भी नहीं खाई और मुश्किलें भी नहीं झेली और आई एम जस्ट सक्सेसफुल। आपके सामने इतनी एग्जांपल्स हैं और हर एक की अपनी स्टोरी है। तो यू नीड टू वर्क हार्ड, डोंट शाई अवे फ्रॉम वर्किंग हार्ड। अच्छा guys, I gotta head out for like next 20-30 minutes. I'll be back. You guys continue, carry on. Thank you.
Acha, Farhan bhai, you were gonna say something.
I was about to say that there are certain people who have some sort of links in US. They come to US, they have families here and all that stuff, and that's actually a pretty good scenario that they get a chance to establish a network here. But most of the time, our med students, they have no network in US. Unfortunately, they're the first ones, they're the pioneers. So I will ask all of her, these matched applicants, what will they recommend? I mean, what are the other alternative ways if they cannot physically come to US? What is their understanding? What is their thought process, that how can they further work up on research while staying in Pakistan? What are your comments? Everyone, Asad, Rabia, and Faika, you can comment on that.
So I never came to the US because of the COVID pandemic. और मतलब मेरा प्लान में ये नहीं था. I had observed how I was going to take CS. लेकिन फिर जब I gave my step 1 in September 2020, और then I started asking people कि अब observerships, क्योंकि तब सब कुछ बंद था, तो I started emailing to hospitals कि I really want to come for the observerships, लेकिन हर कोई यही जवाब दे रहा था कि ये सब बंद है. Till February I started preparing for my step 2, लेकिन February तक मुझे यही आंसर्स आते रहे, क्योंकि मेरे ज़हन में यही था कि मैं जाऊंगी और इन पर्सन करूंगी. लेकिन जब February तक कोई मुझे हॉस्पिटल्स की तरफ से पॉजिटिव रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आया, तो then I started contacting my seniors, because when I was in med school मैं भी उस तरह की थी कि I really didn't have a big social circle. मैं सोसाइटीज में नहीं थी. I was only a few friends जिनके साथ में रहती थी. तो this was the first time I started contacting seniors from my college, even though I did not know them. लेकिन इस टाइम पे मुझे भी समझ नहीं आ रहा था, तो they told me to make use of the things जो मैं कर सकती थी. तो I started participating in online projects. मैंने US के एक लार्किन हॉस्पिटल था, it had a group जिसमें सब लोग पार्ट ले सकते थे from all over the world. वहाँ पे मैंने रिसर्च में पार्ट लेना स्टार्ट किया. Telerotations, even though I don't think that they were a lot helpful, but I did them anyways. And the most important thing that I would like to mention is house job. मतलब मैंने I immediately after giving my step 2, I started my house job, and I got only 4 interviews, but in every single one of them, they did ask me about my clinical experience, what I did in my home country, how as a house officer that I worked. So I could not come to the US, but I did take part in online research projects. I came in contact through virtually with the physicians who were working in US. I did talk to them. I talked to the seniors, and my house job experience, I do think that it really helped me.
Great. Asad, how about you?
अगर आप मेडिकल स्टूडेंट और यूएस में नहीं आ सकते, तो देयर आर डेफिनेटली अपॉर्चुनिटीज जिनमें आप किसी के साथ कोलैबोरेट कर सकते हो, मेटा एनालिसिस, रिव्यू आर्टिकल्स. लेकिन एक पॉइंट मैं कहूँगा कि अगर आप अर्ली ऑन स्टार्ट कर रहे हो तो मेक श्योर कि आपकी रिसर्च ये नहीं कि 7 टॉपिक्स पे है, और आपकी अगर फॉर एग्जांपल 20 पब्लिकेशंस वर्सेस अगर आपकी 60 पब्लिकेशंस है, तो नो वन वुड गो थ्रू योर 60 पब्लिकेशंस अगर वो हर डिफरेंट टॉपिक में. क्योंकि अगर आप एक प्रोग्राम डायरेक्टर या एसोसिएट प्रोग्राम डायरेक्टर ने 1000 एप्लीकेशंस रिव्यू करने हैं, तो मेक श्योर कि यू हैव अ पॉइंट इन योर रिसर्च टू ईदर वन टॉपिक और वन एरिया ऑफ फोकस. और अगर आप अपनी हर रिसर्च में चौथे ऑथर हो, तो हर किसी को पता है कि आपने कितना काम किया है. So there needs to be a balance in all those things too.
Great point. I think if I recall correct, there was one med student who I was recommending. I was at Rochester General Hospital और मैंने उसकी resume recommend की कि यार इसको जना आप seriously consider करें interview के लिए. He's a brilliant applicant. So one of the feedback that I got, that look at his research, it's scattered all over the place. So I think that's a very key point by Asad, that if you are trying to look for a particular subspecialty, your research should focus on that, and that's significantly important. Faika, how about your take on this? What will you suggest?
I think there are people here, like I think you should reach out by email to different consultants, because again, you would be doing it for free, so it's like a win-win on both ends. So I know there's a few consultants जो के remote research आपको करने देते हैं, and again, if you do it with somebody who works at a big place, तो उससे फर्क पड़ता है, because it would get published in a better paper, which again उससे भी फर्क पड़ता है. तो I guess it's always worth a shot. मतलब उसमें ज़्यादा rare हो जाता है, but it's like आपका क्या जा रहा है, just sending out emails and telling them that you're willing to work as a remote researcher. So there might be something there, because I know some people have done it. So there are a few consultants out there who let you like do remote research here. I know there's this hematologist in Cleveland. उनके साथ काफी लोग करते हैं काम. I forget his name, but I can look it up. And
Dr. Faiz Anwar. Dr. Faiz Anwar. A lot of people are doing research.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of people in psychiatry, they're doing research with Dr. Sadiq Naveed. So I think it's very important. So key point is to kind of identify what field you want to go. And I think the only way to identify that in med school is कि आप med school में at least try to go experience, the fields you want to go. For example, if Asad said that he was very sure from very beginning that he wanted to be a neurosurgeon, then he would have gone to like neurosurgery ward and neurosurgery OR and get a feel of what's the lifestyle of those people, and if you have never done, a rotation in psychiatry, और उसके बाद आप graduate होने के बाद कहते हैं तो कि मैंने psychiatry match में apply करना, it doesn't work like that. So you need to have some first key focus area. If you want to do internal medicine or pathology or ENT or pediatrics or psychiatry or surgery or any field of that sort. So a good way to do that is to really participate in rotations. The time I was in Pakistan, I continuously got this feeding from everywhere. Pakistan mein, everyone is clinically very strong, or na either clinical pe both focus hota aur ye wo. And when I came here, I figured out that people here, they're clinically stronger because of the training and because of if you ask someone, they would tell you like what's the positive predictive value of Rodinsky test, ठीक है ना, what's the negative predictive value, ठीक है, or like physical examination finding की like they would tell you different sensitivity, specificity, किस test क्या है, किसकी क्या नहीं है. So I think it's really important कि being clinically strong का मतलब यही कि आप wards में जाओ, आप एक key area जो है वो identify करो which you want to do, and then try to find a mentor in that field and start early on with research and things like that, and start your USMLE journey. People who do it early on, they have a lot more in stake than people who do it after. So naturally, they are bound to be more successful. Second thing, the social circle or social connections, they matter a lot. And I would just say, I would just mention some don'ts. A lot of people, I only get their message right around match recommend kar dein, and I don't know those people. So it becomes, if you're getting really realistically, just think about that. I get like 80 messages every year, and I cannot practically in my sane mind, I cannot recommend all 80 of those to the program, right? Who I don't know. So probably जिन लोगों को मैं जानता हूँ, जिन लोग who people who I've mentored or who have been in contact with me from the very beginning, those are the people who are more likely. So by networking, it does not mean that just send messages or request everyone near the time of application, or ask them to review your personal statement like 2 days before. It means like early on connection, early on mentorship, or that's what you should develop. I guess, yeah, those are just my take on it.
Excellent. I will take the benefit of Dr. Fateh Shahzad here with us, and I will definitely ask him that, KEMCAANA has a strong network in US. There are many Pakistani physicians working all across. Is there any way KEMCAANA can help establish a network that these medical students can connect with those physicians who are involved in research in US? What do you think? What are your thoughts about it, Dr. Fateh?
Yes, and we do have at the level of APNA, but this year with you all young physicians in the YPC group, I think we are going to develop that. It's a gradual process. It takes time. And volunteers, we have a lot of volunteers. We have countless KEMCAANA in academics and young physicians, very good positions in chief resident positions and assistant, associate director. So we are going to develop it. There are KEMCAANA who are interested to do it. It's a process. Actually, I'm going to assign to KEMCAANA YPC to develop a network so we can connect. It should be on the website, who are the mentees and who are the mentors, so they can connect directly or through KEMCAANA YPC. We will have a list of different specialty mentors, and then whoever is interested in research or observership. So that's the plan. This is the first year our KEMCAANA YPC is actually so vibrant. So inshallah, that's the plan.
That's great. That's so nice to hear. That's what I use the term of revamping KEMCAANA, because that's what we were talking about. Dr. Umar Tariq called me, and I was in communication with Dr. Fateh Shahzad, and we were looking into this thing that our students are so brilliant. We score so good on USMLE. The thing we really need to develop is communication skills, research, number of publications, and networking. That's where we are lagging behind if we compare ourselves with Aga Khan, because they have a strong network. And when I meet with their students, they're like, oh yeah, we have those physicians here, we work with them together. I thought that's awesome.
Farhan, can you hear me? Umar Tariq here. I'm driving. Sure. I want to make a quick comment here. KEMCAANA YPC mein, we made multiple sections this year, right? So Farooq is the in charge. Farooq, Ayaz, and Wasif Saif, they are in charge of our research section, and that is their exact job. They have to set up a mechanism for research mentors and mentees, and inshallah in a few months, Ayaz, Wasif Saif, and Farooq, they're going to do that, and we will get them some students. But that is already happening. But thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, that's what I really wanted to highlight here for all the attendees of these webinars, that this is not just a listening session. This is something which we are doing for the first time, really thinking practically about the ways we can help our students to establish their network here in US and getting into a residency match. So that's great.
Yes, Farhan. Sorry, just 1 second. Even with our YPC not very vibrant in the few years, and AKU being more involved and more active, and their students do electives regularly in USA. But our resident matching number have been higher than AKU for last 3 years. So yes. King Edward this year was 40, and actually there are a few more, but and they're 39. So we're still, last year was actually 49 and 47. So we're still above any other medical school in Pakistan. So that's good. The credit goes to the students. To be honest, we were not very big help, but we are going to help. And my goal is next year 50 and then 60. So let's see if we can achieve that.
Awesome. So that's a great news for everyone who is here joining us and our upcoming students as well. Back to Usama.
Okay, I'll go back to Rabia. Rabia, I think you said that you did tele rotations, or you did some rotations physically in the US as well.
No, I did tele-rotations because
Okay.
मैं कभी आई ही नहीं US.
Okay. So how and you know, mashallah, you matched, and so it's still possible. So I just want to share some light on that kind of experience, and how that helped you, and you know, how you find those opportunities and stuff.
To be honest, I'm not really sure how much they help, because in the interviews people asked me more about my house job and how Mayo Hospital works as then tele-rotations. No one asked me about them. लेकिन मैं ये नहीं कह सकती कि वो बिल्कुल useless थी, because they were in my CV and I did get interviews on my own because of the CV that I put and I did mention them. तो मुझे उनसे बहुत ज़्यादा फायदा तो नहीं हुआ, but I'm not really sure how much they help.
Acha, okay. So I think one thing which we are, as applicants, we are really not good at is, you know, selling ourselves. हम लोग काफी hardship से आए होते हैं, और you know, we have gone through like rigorous you know, professional examination and everything, or even during house job duty hours and everything. So I remembered I did house job, and I remember during my interviews, you know, I really used to highlight that, and really used to sell that, and how that helped me, you know, as a clinician, as a person. So I would just want to highlight that no experience is like bad experience. Every experience is good experience. It as good as it is as you can sell it, and as you can explain it, and you can you know, dwell on it. So that really helps, and that's you know, really important. So I just have a couple of more questions. So Asad, I'll ask you, you know, if you go back and if you have to do it all over again, what are the things you would do differently, and what are the things which you will not do?
I think I would, before starting a research year, I would look for a program that has matched IMGs and not be in a place that told me at the time that we don't take IMGs.
Okay, all right. And what are the things that you done and you will not probably do if you have to go back?
I would not do?
Yeah.
Exactly the research part. I would do it in a place that is more open to taking IMGs. If I do the work.
Okay. All right. Same question for you, Faika.
Can I add one thing here?
Yes, sure. Please go ahead.
We will have a list of IMG friendly program for this year. Actually, we will provide the list of program where IMG is matched, as well as the program where KEMU resident matched. So it should be available on our YPC page soon. So at least you will know where KEMCAANA matched and where other IMGs, Pakistani IMGs matched.
Okay, I'll go back to Faika again. Faika, same question.
I would probably what I would do differently is I would I would have liked it if I taken a couple of my exams, or at least step one during my med school, because it saves you a lot of time. Another thing that I would do, and then I would spend that year, like I wouldn't apply earlier on, I would spend that year doing another year of research. And another thing is I would dream bigger. Like mera hamesha se tha ki I just want to get in. I just want to get into a residency program. But after going through this math cycle, it just made me realize that aapke goals, like you should always aim for the stars. कि आपका गोल ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि मैंने अंदर घुसना है, आपका गोल ये होना चाहिए कि I want to go to a like high top tier program, because I've seen it happen. I know जितना impossible लोग कहते हैं उतना नहीं होता. You just have to be willing to, like, you have to be smart about it. You have to know किस तरह से how to go about it. So I would have bigger dreams, to be honest, and then like usko keeping that in mind, I would shape everything else around it. और तीसरा ये कि मेरा एक पर्सनल वो है कि I have trouble, like मुझे ना like I find it hard to go around and ask for help. Like wo mera personal way, I'm just too shy to like walk up to somebody and be like, oh, can you do this for me? So I would work on that. If I could go to the mass cycle again, I would reach out to more people. Like you said, it's a lot about making connections. I would do it more aggressively. I would start before because it helps a lot and I've seen it. So those are the things that I would change.
Yeah, and I just want to add, the bigger your goal is, the more there is the risk, the more there is hard work, and the more there is a chance of failure. Okay, so if you think about, going to the top of like K2 or Mount Everest, not everyone reaches there. Okay, a lot of people, they turn halfway backwards, right? तो जितना बड़ा, तो हर कोई K2 सर नहीं कर सकता, तो जितना बड़ा आपका ड्रीम है तो उतना ही ज्यादा आपको उसमें मेहनत, ट्रेनिंग और जो है ना वो उतना ही ज्यादा आपको उसमें ना एफर्ट डालनी होगी और उतना ज्यादा उसमें होगा. And it's okay to fail. As Asad said, that he applied for the first time and he did not match, but he seized another opportunity. He went into a pre-residency program. And so he cashed on that, and eventually he went in. And everyone who used to tell him that neurosurgery is impossible, he eventually got it. It just took some time, some training, some effort.
अच्छा उसामा, एक क्विक कमेंट. उमर तारिक here again. मैं ये कहना चाह रहा था कि अभी कोई बात हो रही थी sell yourself, right? So regarding that, I think that the most difficult job in this world is to ask somebody to give their money. किसी से पैसा लेना ना दुनिया का सबसे मुश्किल काम है. Again, SPWs में रहते हुए ना we got so good at it कि लोगों से donation कैसे लेनी है, पैसे कैसे लेने हैं. So you learn how to sell things, चाहे वो philanthropy हो, चाहे selling a product हो. So use this time period when you're at KE to participate in societies to improve your communication skills so that you learn how to sell yourself. तो एक तो ये बात. दूसरी बात ये कि अगर participants में कोई भी ऐसे लोग हैं जिनका इस साल मैच नहीं हुआ, आपके सामने असद की such a shining example कि एक साल उसका मैच नहीं हुआ तो अगले साल वो न्यूरोसर्जरी में अच्छे प्रोग्राम में मैच हुआ है उसका. तो डोंट लूज होप. ये छोटे मोटी आपके दरमियान हर्डल्स हैं. इन द लॉन्ग जर्नी ऑफ टाइम इट डजंट मैटर कि आपका एक साल नहीं हुआ. आपको इंशाल्लाह जब आप अटेंडिंग बन जाओगे ये चीज आपके लिए मैटर भी नहीं करेगी कि आपका एक साल लेट आपने स्टार्ट किया था. Over to you, Sama. Thank you.
उमर भाई की वो बात पे ऐड करना चाहूंगा कि आप selling yourself. तो I think if you have worked hard to shows on your CV, but for example मैं अपनी एग्जांपल देता हूँ. जब मैंने रिसर्च शुरू की तो मैं बैठता था डिपार्टमेंट के सेंटर में. वो काफी स्पॉट होता था जहाँ पे हर अटेंडिंग से गुजरना होता था. तो अब मैंने सोचा कि मैं रात 10 बजे तक बैठ के काम कर रहा हूँ और वीकेंड पे भी काम कर रहा हूँ तो एवरीवन शुड नोटिस. लेकिन द पॉइंट इज कि अगर आप बैठ के काम कर रहे हो और इफ यू आर नॉट प्रोडक्टिव देयर टू, तो दैट गोज अगेंस्ट यू. ये बंदा पूरा दिन बैठा और इसने किया क्या है. तो इट हैज टू बी अ बैलेंस, क्योंकि अगर आप अपने आप को शुरू ये करोगे कि मैंने ये किया, मैंने वो किया, तो दैट माइट गो अगेंस्ट यू. तो स्ट्राइक अ बैलेंस बिटवीन that it should show on your CV anyways, and people know that हाँ ये बंदा काम करने वाला है, ये बंदा ये है. तो it would
Absolutely. और इंशाल्लाह यही चीज हमने KEMCAANA में भी लेके आनी है. KEMCAANA does a lot of great work, but somehow it doesn't get displayed everywhere. And I think we will inshallah do better job making sure that people know all the good work we are doing in KEMCAANA as well.
Okay, very good. So Faika, I will come to you. I have a question for you. Can you tell me about your interview experience? You interviewed at a whole lot of programs, and so interviews, or I tell everyone कि जो residency में जो apply करना है, it's just like dating, because you are showing someone your interest, and they are showing you their interest, right? Or there are some love letters in form of emails and stuff. ठीक है. तो उसके बाद but eventually you go wherever you think wherever it's gonna be a good match for you, and same for them. It's not necessarily always true कि अगर वो आपको email पे कह रहे हैं कि we are ranking you highly and then you find out later कि उन्होंने rank नहीं किया था highly. So but tell me about some of the things about like communicating to programs in forms of emails right before the match, and then your interview process or interviews में भी ना you actually when you are actually interviewing and answering तो आपको पता लग रहा होता है कि कौन सा चूरन जो है ना वो आपका बिक रहा है उधर, जो आप जो जवाब दे रहे हो ना कौन से जवाब पे वो they are clicking that and they are buying that. So can you share just some light on that कि क्या था और क्या do's and don'ts for all the audience for the interviewing process?
I think for interviews we need a lot of practice. Like मैंने काफी ज़्यादा practice की थी, and like one of the things that मुझे अभी आपकी बात से याद आया कि something that almost every program that I interviewed at, and I think that they liked my answer. मुझे अक्सर programs पूछते थे कि like just talk about one thing जो any personal growth in the past few years, like they were like some difficult time that you had to go through and what you learned from it. So I would always talk about how I moved here on my own. I was a girl, I was living by myself, I left home, और फिर शुरू में बहुत मुश्किल था, but now I have my name on a lease and I get bills और मेरा नाम होता है, तो just that feeling of accomplishment उससे मुझे बहुत like it's a really good feeling. So I think they really like that answer. So interviews में I think you need to have like बहुत ज़्यादा practice करने की ज़रूरत है, and for IMGs you need again, like Asad said, you have to strike a balance. Like you have to not overdo it. Because I've seen a lot of IMGs वो अपने आप को sell करते करते ना it just like वो बहुत overdo कर जाते हैं, which does not go in your favor at all. Like मुझे as another interviewee मुझे बैठ के पता चला होता है like I wouldn't hire that guy वो जितना वो हो रहा होता है ना, because you need to have that balance. You have to sell yourself, but you need to know when to do it. Like if everybody's like common room में आप बैठे हुए हो and you're still talking about yourself, that doesn't shine. क्योंकि वहाँ पे program coordinator भी होती है, and even if they say that उनका कोई वो नहीं होता, but they're still observing you, they're still seeing how you talk and what you talk about. So I think you need a lot of practice for interviews. हमारे like I think ये अपना में वो sign up वाले भी थे, practice interviews काफी लोगों ने किए थे, so the more practice that you have, the better. उसके अलावा communicating with programs, I think communication is important, but you have like if somebody does it for you on your behalf, that's gonna make more of a difference. Like मैंने letter of interest भेजे थे, मुझे उसकी वजह से कुछ interviews भी आए थे. Like मेरा Metro Health से जो interview था वो मुझे PD ने बोला था कि हाँ, I looked through your CV and I do agree that you deserve an interview with us. तो letter of interest के हद तक I think it's a good idea to start reaching out to programs pretty early on, because I went through it, I did it, and I think it helped. रैंक लिस्ट बनाते हुए like उस वक्त मैंने खुद से नहीं रीच आउट किया था. I had my PI did it because he was emailing on my behalf and I didn't want to overdo it क्योंकि मैं करूँ वो करूँ, and I just figured that it would be better if it was coming from him. So what have I answered all of your questions?
Yeah, I think, and I just want to point out a couple of things in that. Very balanced approach. So similarly, as I said, I give everyone example that it's playing a match is just like dating. तो बहुत ज्यादा overly enthusiastic या आपको ना बहुत ज्यादा lectured भी नहीं होना होता कि अगला जो है वो you have to have a balanced personality and strike a balance that you're interested, but you also have self-respect and you also have confidence, right? So it's not like you're begging them, please take me. I am, I have everything, in this program and blah, blah, blah. So that kind of goes against you. Second thing is कि ना काफी लोग जो है ना वो I mean weakness वाला question ना हर program पूछता है कि आपकी क्या weakness and blah, blah, blah. और काफी लोग ये कहते हैं कि ना मेरी weakness ये है कि ना I don't like conflict. So that's a very big red flag. जहाँ भी आप residency कर रहे होगे, wherever there is a team, there is gonna be conflict. So if you don't like conflict, that means either you're gonna flip out or you're gonna get taken advantage of, right? ठीक है? So just think of something. Everyone has some weakness. I know a girl. She said कि मेरा answer जो था ना weakness का वो ये था कि ना I never had to navigate in Lahore or Pakistan. और मेरी वीकनेस जो थी ना इधर आके ना, वो गूगल मैप्स था कि उस पर किस तरह नेविगेट करना है. बट I did it so much. At the end, that became my strength. The Google Maps became my biggest friend. So you took a weakness and you turned it to a strength, right? So you answered both of their questions. Instead of इस तरह के बोंगे जवाब देना कि मैं बहुत हार्ड वर्किंग हूँ और ना ये मेरी स्ट्रेंथ है. Like, I mean, for God's sake, everyone is hardworking. So second thing is ये. Third thing is again, mentorship or जो connections है ना, it really matters. I think a lot of people undervalue that, and I being going through residency and then fellowship experience. I'll go back to FICA when you said that you did not had much publishing when you applied. You were actually in a research position. So similar was my case when I applied for a sleep medicine fellowship. I did not had any sleep related publication. They're very rare to come by anyways. But I had a sleep fellowship program at my, the place I was doing residency, and मैंने एक randomized control trial जो था ना उस पे काम करना शुरू किया. It didn't result into anything. उसकी उस वक्त publication ही आई थी by the time I matched. But everywhere I went, I used to talk about that and I used to sell that. And they were like, they were so impressed. They were like, wow, that's so cool. Like, you're working on a randomized control trial in, central sleep apnea or something like that, which their program did not have, right? So they were really excited. And then the third thing is कि whoever your mentor is, आपका उससे इतना अच्छा connection होना चाहिए, and they really should believe in you. ठीक है, जब मेरी रैंक ऑर्डर लिस्ट जो थी, I went to my mentor, I just showed them these are the places I interviewed, and there's a fellowship program over here at our, but I don't want to go here. I want to grow further, explore further. ठीक है, तो मैंने चूरा नहीं बेचा कि मुझे इधर ही रख लो. So and he was really appreciative that I'm being honest. So he said that, okay, I can call these 5 programs. I said no, I don't want you to call 5 programs because I know you have a reputation, and so I just want to call these top 2. ठीक है, मुझे सिर्फ ये top 2 में चाहिए और ना उसके अलावा और मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए. बाकी I'll manage on my own. So you have to care for them as well when they are vouching out for you. And then he picked up and he made some calls. So that really matters. All the applicants, they would be sending emails and letter for interest and blah blah blah. But some of your mentor who you have worked with, if he's picking up the phone and talking to that person or sending an email on your behalf, that really matters a lot. So I think I'll go to next to Rabia. Rabia, I think you did your USMLEs during house job right after graduation. So
Yes.
Can you tell me during house job how did you manage to do all of that?
So when after my prof pandemic आ गया, सब कुछ बंद हो गया था, तो मेरा step 1 भी फंसा हुआ था and I did not even start house job. तो दोनों तरह से मुझे लग रहा था कि मेरा कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा, क्योंकि सब कह रहे थे प्रोमेट्रिक पता नहीं कब तक बंद है. तो I applied for house job जो कि अगस्त वाला, and I had my step 1 in September. तो it was a distraction एकदम से जब सब बंद हो गया, तो पढ़ाई में भी आया. लेकिन जब हाउस जॉब के साथ इस तरह था कि आई चोज एन इजी रोटेशन, लेकिन उस तरह मुझे वो मोटिवेशन मिलती थी, वो वाला स्ट्रेस वापस आ गया कि एग्जाम है. एंड देन द प्रोमेट्रिक्स ओपन अप इन सितंबर, फिर मैंने उनसे छुट्टियां ले ली थोड़ी सी. तो इस तरह आई थिंक आई वर्क बेटर व्हेन आई हैव सम प्रेशर, क्योंकि बिल्कुल जब कुछ ना हो तो मुझसे पढ़ा नहीं जा रहा था. तो इस तरह से मैंने मैनेज कर लिया था उस जॉब के साथ.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I think we're just gonna wrap up this session. We will go through some questions in the chat, but before going to the questions, I want starting from Asad, each of your applicants, just 2 pieces of advice you want to give to all the attendants in this seminar. What would you tell them, and what would you think that would help them the most?
I think it'll be the same thing. Just believe in yourself or have a plan.
Okay, very good. Paika, what about you?
I think you should always aim high. Just because you're an IMG doesn't mean you're not good enough. You're just as good as everybody else, and you need to believe in yourself. Yeah, and like be smart about it. Like just because you have everything, like the world is not going to hand you everything on a platter. So just be smart about it. Talk to people, know what to do. Like just because you're a genius or आपके बहुत ज़्यादा scores भी हैं, if you don't know how to go about things, it's not gonna work out well for you. So A, dream big, and B, be smart. Like be street smart about it. Book smart भी हो और street smart भी हो.
Okay, what about you, Rabia?
I would advise everyone to have a better social circle so that they can help you, because I really think कि ये मेरे में नहीं था, to have more social connections. And the other thing I would say कि be persistent, keep on working until you get there, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं आप पहुंच ही जाते हैं.
Okay, very good. Dr. Shahzad, I would like your final words. कि आपकी क्या advice है, suggestion है for all these wonderful, young students and physicians.
Gee, thank you once again. Wonderful program, and we will continue to do that. I think it will help everyone. So that's one thing we can do from KEMCAANA for the students and the young physicians. Just reach out to us, reach out to other people, even you don't know. As someone was, I think Faika was saying that she has an issue with reaching out or asking for help. एक बात याद रखें कि बच्चा भी जब तक नहीं रोता माँ दूध नहीं पिलाती, तो उस माँ से ज्यादा कौन प्यार करता है बच्चे से. तो we are here like your parents, तो you have to reach out. और जब आप नहीं करेंगे तो फिर कोई हेल्प नहीं करेगा. Maximum they can say no. कोई आप पे हैंग अप कर देगा, कोई आपका जवाब नहीं देगा. आप 100 ईमेल लिखेंगे, कोई 2-4 तो जवाब जरूर देंगे. तो इस वजह से ना कि जी what they will say doesn't matter. You don't know them personally, they don't know you personally. So reach out. There are good people. Believe me, they're good people. We're here to help, and there are many people who want to help. So reach out or connected रहे. KEMCAANA, we have our website. We continue to share information. कोई opening होती है, कोई research है. अपना same way, अपना has a page. Doesn't matter. अपना is an umbrella we work under. So we work KEMCAANA. We're अपना. Believe me, KEMCOLians are running apna. Doesn't matter if the leadership might not be KEMCOLian, but the people who are working in apna, they're mostly KEMCOLians. So reach out to wherever you can and aim high, as Faika said and Rabia said. So and you will get there. Failure का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप कभी भी नहीं जा सकते. ठीक है, एक दफा नहीं, दूसरी दफा. तो और थर्ड थिंग जो सबसे जरूरी है, स्टार्ट अर्ली. अब AKU के कुछ बच्चे बच्चियां जो 3rd ईयर में शुरू कर देते हैं अपना फर्स्ट स्टेप 1 के लिए, तो स्टार्ट अर्ली. और गोल शुड बी कि बाय समवेयर इन द 4th ईयर यू हैव डन स्टेप 1, बिफोर योर ग्रेजुएशन यू हैव डन स्टेप 2. और उसके लिए फाइनेंशियल हेल्प वी विल ट्राई टू हेल्प एज मच एज वी कैन. और उसके अलावा visa के लिए we are always there. The best thing to do for visa is contact us before you apply. So we will guide you कि जी उसमें क्या क्या चाहिए. If you're a student, you really don't need a big financial statement to show. They know you're a student, you're going to come back up to complete your final year or 4th year, wherever you are. तो उसके लिए लोगों को डर होता है कि जी पता नहीं मेरे वालिद के या वालदा के या किसी अकाउंट में कोई millions of rupees होने चाहिए. It doesn't matter. They know that. For step 3, another good option to get visa is because they know there's only one place in the world where your step 3 is taken. So those are good reasons to apply for visa when you are a student or when you need for step 3. So you usually don't get refused for those. And actually they give you a multiple entry visa while you're a student. So you can use that for next 5 years.
Okay, very good. I don't know if Umar bhai is still on call or not.
Anji, I am. Now I'm back with my webcam.
Anji, Umar bhai, aapke, some words of wisdom for all these,
Sure. Before I proceed with that, couple of things. कि यहाँ पर Fateh bhai हैं and we have you. Fateh bhai, we were talking about compiling a list for electives for KEMCOLians. So is it possible that Osama can assign few students from KE who will work like 5 to 10 programs each, and then we will filter and come up with an Excel sheet ye programs and these are the eligibility criteria. This is something I did 12 years ago, but
absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
And then we can put it on the page.
Yeah, as many resources we can use. I'm myself and the executive committee is on board. You're okay with that? Yes.
Chalo, Osama, you're okay with that?
There is, yeah, definitely. There is actually a list and a Google sheet we are compiling on the group for that. And some of the recent people who have done it recently, they are contributing to it. So uspe already hain kuch students. And I would really encourage all of the students to first join our group, KEMCAANA YPC ka jo Facebook group hai. It has a lot of great resources. The questions you're asking over there, many have answered many times before. And second thing is your organization is as good as you are, right? So I am KEMCAANA. KEMCAANA is not some big boss sitting up. So I would highly encourage all the students, all the residents to join it. Your organization, as again I said that it's not koi aise asmaan se aake nahi hum log hi hain KEMCAANA. So join it and contribute and volunteer in it. We have a lot of things we want to do with the group. So if you are interested, reach out and join the organization. It's essentially free. And we will definitely work on that.
Sure. So Osama, few things really quick. So I want to really appreciate Osama because he had this group exclusively for Kemcolians, and I reached out to him and I said, okay, let's all gather together. Me, Vakas, Waran, we are doing some work with King Edward USMLE Forum. I'm doing some work on my own under the banner of Medidia. Osama is doing some work for King Edward USMLE Forum exclusively for Kemcolians. In सबको इकट्ठा करके, rather than कि सब अपनी अलग-अलग काम करें, हम KEMCAANA के banner में आए, and I'm really appreciative of everyone. I haven't heard back from one Kemcolian जिसने कहा नहीं मैंने इस banner में YPC KEMCAANA के नहीं आना, and I won't do anything. Everybody came back, everybody joined, and everything became YPC KEMCAANA this year. So mashallah, this is a great achievement. Kudos to you, Sama, for doing that. Seriously, it's a big thing. 2000 बंदों का group आपने उठा के YPC KEMCAANA बना दिया. Kudos to Farhan for coming and joining us. आप दोनों के लिए great work for organizing on our first YPC KEMCAANA session this year, and inshallah there will be many more. Dusra, thank you very much for Fateh Bhai for being the change he wanted to see in KEMCAANA, for inculcating all us, the young physicians. एक चीज मैं comment करूंगा, we were a bit strict about having your webcam on and showing up on time. The reason is that देखो मैं आज तक मैंने यूएस में ना कोई ऐसी मीटिंग नहीं की जिसमें मेरा webcam on ना हो. It looks highly unprofessional when you're not professionally dressed up, when you don't have your webcam on और आप एक मीटिंग में बैठे हो. So that's why we had a very strict requirement. यकीन मानो हमें से किसी ने आपको देखा भी नहीं, लेकिन the idea is we want you to get comfortable with having a webcam on, dressing up professionally and sitting in front of the camera. अगर आज ही कर सकते हो ना, तो कल को आप virtual interviews comfortably कर सकोगे. मेरी सारी research के जितने भी interviews थे, वो सारे उस जमाने में Skype होता था, Skype पे हुए थे virtually. But I knew how to be comfortable in front of a camera, dressing up professionally. तो I really want you guys to do that. दूसरा, punctuality is a big concern for us. अगर आपको 9 बजे का time दिया जा रहा है, people are still joining at 10:45 or my time, or I think it's 7:45 in Pakistan. अब 1.5 घंटे बाद join करें. Please, if you want to join our future YPC KEMCAANA sessions, we will have a hard limit that we would not be able to add you after the start of the session. It's very distracting for the moderators कि हम आप लोगों के questions भी देख रहे हैं, बोल भी रहे हैं, and then we're also adding people in the middle. So please be punctual, show up 10 minutes before the start of the session. And last thing that I will say is, देखो ये आज सैटरडे मॉर्निंग है, हम सब लोग छोड़ के, मैं अपने दरमियान में बच्चों को कराटे छोड़ के आया हूँ, फोन पे दरमियान में गाड़ी में भी बात कर रहा हूँ, फतेह भाई अपने सैटरडे मॉर्निंग पे बैठे हैं, उसामा बैठा हुआ है, फरहान बैठे, और ये माशाल्लाह हमारे नए बच्चियां जो हैं, असद, फाइका, राबिया, ये लोग बैठी हैं, अपना टाइम निकाल रहे हैं. देयर इज अ रीजन फॉर दैट. दे हैव द स्पिरिट ऑफ गिविंग बैक. ये गिविंग बैक का स्पिरिट खत्म नहीं करना. आज आप स्टूडेंट्स हो, आपके जो फर्स्ट ईयर सेकंड ईयर में जूनियर्स हैं, एफएससी के बच्चे, उन्हें गाइड करो, उनको हेल्प करो. what you give, it always comes back. अगर आप बच्चों को गाइड कर रहे हो, हेल्प कर रहे हो, तो आपको भी बड़े सीनियर्स आपके गाइड करेंगे. अगर आप जो रेजिडेंट्स आपके सामने बैठे हुए हैं, असद, फाइका और राबिया ये आपको गाइड करें तो इनको इनके सीनियर्स गाइड करेंगे। और अल्लाह आपको हमेशा याद रखो कि देने वाले हाथ से बेहतर होता है। जितना आप दे रहे हो ना उससे ज्यादा हमें भी वापस आपको मिलेगा और हमें भी मिल रहा है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। तो एंड दिस गोज बियॉन्ड, मतलब खाली ये प्रोफेशन की बात नहीं है। वी टॉक अबाउट लाइफ, वी टॉक अबाउट फाइनेंशियल गाइडेंस, वी टॉक अबाउट अ लॉट ऑफ अदर स्किल्स इन लाइफ एंड वी लर्न फ्रॉम ईच अदर। सो नेवर लिव इन अ शेल, नेवर स्टे इन अ सोशली आइसोलेटेड बबल, ऑलवेज गिव बैक। जिस चीज की हेल्प कर सकते हो करो, फिर जहां आपको हेल्प चाहिए होगी ना, अल्लाह कोई ना कोई फरिश्ता आपका सीनियर आपको बना के आपकी हेल्प के लिए भेज देगा। ठीक है, शुक्रिया।
Okay, I think Farhan bhai, any closing remarks? I'm just going through some bunch of questions. किसी ने एक पूछा हुआ है कि step 3 और उसकी preparation step 1, step 2 के we will have a separate webinar on that, in which we will go over that. And someone asked about I think a lot of questions have been answered kind of. Someone asked the question, does the research matter, type of research matter in the match, like study designs? Of course, I mean, but you'll have to start small. I think you cannot directly jump to do like meta-analysis from the beginning. First, you know how to write and everything. You have to start from, case report and do some prospective or retrospective data analysis, and then go towards, meta-analysis and things like that. And so I think anything is good, but you have to, do it in the right order. And someone asked that I've seen a lot of people who match internal medicine specifically from KE. If anyone wants to opt any field of surgery like neurosurgery, thoracic surgery, what additional thing or procedures we have to do for surgical specialties as compared to internal medicine? Again, you need to find spot on. You need to find a mentor from right very beginning. Identify a mentor, and I think work with them who's in neurosurgery or thoracic surgery. Find a mentor in Pakistan and start with that, but you also need a US mentor who can help you with research and everything. Someone said, if we find ourselves difficult position of making a compromise between the field we would love to join and others that are statistically more promising match-wise, how and where do we draw the line, factoring the individual circumstances, or do we even have to? That's a very good question. I think Farhan bhai, you would like to answer that.
I'm sorry, I missed the part.
Yeah. So someone is asking that if we find ourselves in the difficult position of making a compromise between the field we would love to join and others that are statistically more promising match-wise, for example, pathology, how and where we should draw the line, factoring in individual circumstances, or do we even have to?
I think it's a difficult question to answer, but as I said, the people were all these newly matched applicants were stating the same thing: follow your dreams, dream big. So, and as I said, it depends where are you more comfortable. This is something which is related to your life in future. For example, if someone wants to go to neurosurgery, it's not about they have seen someone else be a neurosurgeon and happy to look at them. It's just they want their self to be a neurosurgeon, and that's what their life eventually will be. So if you are in a field where you think you can spend your life, you should put your best effort there. Try to just gather your CV in that direction.
To add to that, Farhan and Osama, I think it's personality dependent. Risk taking is not a cup of tea for everyone. And, like they say, destiny always favors the patient and risk taker. Yeah, right. So agar aapki hai ki you want a safe approach, so go for the safer residency spot. Har ek ki dekho situation be different. If you're financially well off, so you can probably take more risk as compared to somebody who cannot afford to go unmatched for the first year, right? So if you're a risk taker, if that is something in your priority list, then take risk and aim big. And always dream big, and don't think, ye ek aur cheez hai ki don't think that the competitive specialties are better and somehow internal medicine is, less good in any way. Internal medicine, maybe if you're looking financially, people do fellowships and they make more than neurosurgeons, orthopedic surgeons, vascular surgeons. So there are always options. So just see why you want to get into a specialty. Is it lifestyle? Is it something like you like to practice? Is it something that inspires you? There should be other reasons. Money shouldn't be the only thing to look after. or if you like internal medicine, psychiatry, family, there is nothing wrong with it. These are phenomenal specialties.
Yeah, and I think in particular, I think you should be, it's something you're gonna continue doing rest of your life. And I mean, we spend literally more than half of our lives, at our workplace. So I think it should really be something you look forward to. Like, I mean, I look forward to getting up every day and love going to my workplace. So it should be something, you enjoy. And I would still say that, please, it's not, USML is not everything, although I'm, US trained. Don't get into this rat race. Try to figure out what you want. Yeah, coming to USA should not be the only thing. You should factor in multiple other things, like your family, what work-life balance you want, how near you want to be your family, what's important in you. There are other pathways. UK, don't get into this rat race. आजकल वो ना हर किसी को ये होता है कि यार ये USMLE कर रहा है तो ना मैं भी USMLE कर लेता हूँ, something like that. And I've seen it even after coming over here. ड्यूरिंग रेजिडेंसी के ना यार वो फलाना कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट बन गया तो मैं भी कार्डियोलॉजी में अप्लाई कर देता हूँ, और they don't have any interest. I have actually a friend who mashed into permcrit, following this rat race, and उसके बाद वो कहते हैं कि I'm very dreadful right now कि how I will spend rest of my life, in ICU, taking care of sick patients. And for some people it's a passion. So I think I would still say don't get into any rat race. Really figure out what you want to do, and when you figure out what you want to do, I will just quote Paulo Coelho, though the whole universe conspires to help you in your dream. Okay, so I think figure out what you want to do and just stay on the track and you will achieve it. I think I went over most of the question we answered. If you have any other thing you want to ask anything, feel free to message me or reach out to me. I think we will wrap up this session, and I would, yeah.
So really quickly, कुछ YouTube पे questions हैं, so I will quickly go over them if that's okay.
Yeah.
एक ये है कि specialities that don't have emergencies at all. I think pathology, family medicine, psychiatry to some extent, right? Ophthalmology, of course. And then there is a question, do we need research to apply into family medicine match? देखो, आपको research की जरूरत किसी भी residency में apply करने के लिए नहीं है, लेकिन it makes you a more competitive, a better candidate, चाहे आप medicine में जा रहे हो, चाहे आप family medicine में जा रहे हो, चाहे आप radiology में जा रहे हो, neurosurgery में जा रहे हो. अगर आप research करते हो और एक productive research है जिसमें publications हैं, posters हैं, presentations हैं, तो you are a very good candidate. You are more than likely to match in a very good program. ठीक है. अब ये है कि अगर आप कंपेटिटिव स्पेशलिटी में होते हैं तो आपका मैच होने का चांस बढ़ जाता है एज कम्पेयर टू नॉट गेटिंग मैच. अगर आप फैमिली मेडिसिन, इंटरनल मेडिसिन में हो तो यू मैच एट अ बेटर प्लेस. ठीक है. अगर आप नहीं करते तो मैच, अगर आपके स्कोर्स वगैरह बाकी सी भी अच्छी है, हर साल सबसे ज्यादा मेजोरिटी उन बच्चों की होती है जिन्होंने कुछ नहीं किया होता, उनका मैच हो जाता है. लेकिन ये है कि वो फिर वो ऐसे प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं जो टॉप टियर में कंसिडर नहीं होते. और अगेन, नथिंग रॉन्ग विद दोस पीपल डू रिसर्च इन दोस प्रोग्राम्स एंड गेट गुड फेलोशिप्स, बट जस्ट बी माइंडफुल. If you want to match at a better program, research definitely helps. उसके बाद dermatology, I don't know anybody on top of my head जिसको recently dermatology मिली है. We'll try to find someone. And then there is how big of a red flag is the year of graduation, more than 5 years with a residency in Pakistan. अब यार इसमें ये देखो, old graduates के लिए हमेशा मैं कहता हूँ उनके लिए ज्यादा जरूरी है कि वो research करें to add something. वो जो आपकी CV में deficiency आ गई है ना, कि you had a long time since graduation, you have to supplement it, fix it somehow. And you can do that with observerships, with long-term research, with publications. And I have a friend who matched at UPenn in radiology after doing 7 years of research. उसने बंदे ने PhD कर डाली और वो स्टैनफोर्ड में रिसर्च करता है. इस साल उसका ईरानी है और उसका मैच हुआ है 2 साल पहले UPenn की रेडियोलॉजी में. तो people, उसका यही प्रॉब्लम था, long time since graduation. Last question I have is, can we do observership externships while doing research at an institution? You can. It's a little tough. उसकी arrangement यही होती है कि आप research कर रहे होते हो और आप किसी local mentor से बात करते हो to get observership. And the last one is, I graduated, and this is the last question. Sorry, we won't be taking any more questions. I graduated 8 years ago and completed my PhD in neuroscience. Want to apply in neuro residency? Do I have a chance? Absolutely. आपके जैसे 2-3 लोगों को मैं जानता हूँ जिन्होंने PhD की है न्यूरोसाइंस में और उन्होंने न्यूरोलॉजी, न्यूरो रेडियोलॉजी, neurosurgery in specialties में apply किया, and they have matched. One of them is a KEMCAANA, I think हमने 2009 में KEMCAANA ने उन्हें award भी दिया था. He was a Rhodes scholar. I think Mudassar Bhai, he's at University of Arkansas. He did that. He was a Rhodes scholar, went to Oxford, did a PhD there, and then he got his residency in USA, and now he's attending at University of Arkansas in Little Rock. Okay, thank you very much again, Farhan. Thank you very much, Usama. Thank you, Maribush, Fateh Bhai, and the speakers, Rabia, Faika. Also, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Great session.
Thanks.